Yo. Yeah, that's crazy. I've never seen it get so few notifications out. Wild. Got 33 people here. I won't be staying here long if that's what it is. All right. Anyways, it was pretty amazing. The Artemis 2 landed in the ocean. Did you guys see that? That was freaking awesome. That's just a graphic there, but maybe I'll pick it up when it's coming into Earth's atmosphere. Look how amazing they were able to capture it just falling. I mean, that looks like something out of a movie, but there's, I guess they have some kind of plane or ship or something.
For forward bay covered jettison.
Isn't that amazing? We can just watch this again until it lands, I guess. See if people show up. We only got 46 people here, if you can believe that.
And there go the first series of parachutes, and we're on drogues.
So that one just kind of slows it down.
And Houston, we're visual 2 drogues out the window.
Make sure that the top is facing up.
2 good drogue shoots. Next up.
We copy, we see them.
Next up, the deployment of pilot parachutes that will pull the main chutes out. Time to splash down 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
I like that guy's voice that does that.
Perfect descent rate according to flight dynamics.
Good rates on 2 drogues.
Yeah, it was like a perfect flight other than their sewage system.
On board.
I'll just go till it hits the water. They haven't really... they haven't even been taken out of it yet.
Still on drogues.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to do the show if we don't get to like 100 people. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I don't know what it is. They just never notify anybody when I'm live.
Main chute
So
deployed.
here comes the chutes. Guess it takes a little bit to fill them up.
We're at
That one looks like
5,000
it was
feet.
kind of struggling a bit, but
Search and recovery beacon has been activated on integrity.
maybe I can go like that. There we
And
go.
we have 3 good main
Out
chutes.
the window.
Good 3 main chutes. Good reefing.
Just in case
Good
That's so
descent
cool.
rate.
Good rates, and we
Isn't
see
it?
3 good-looking parachutes.
Yeah, 60's terrible. Okay.
Integrity.
So sitting there going, hey,
Damage
almost
certificate.
60, that's
No need
just
for
stupid.
hydrazine checks.
Okay, it doesn't mean anything.
Integrity copies.
No, it's not worth doing a show when there's only 50 people watching.
This is a perfect descent.
That's just
for
the
integrity.
truth. Not
This
saying,
crew sounding
you know,
hail and hard
I'm
again.
not saying that you individually aren't cool, but you think I'm going to do a show if there's 4 people here, but I like them all? It's not worth my time. I can't do it. You know, I could do something else, make a video or something. You know, you guys say
Time
such
to
stupid
splash down
comments
1
sometimes.
minute.
It's just
We have 5
almost unbelievable.
occurring by splash.
Let's see. So here it is. Okay, we'll see, because we're only at 51 people. And if we're not getting like in 10 minutes. There it is. Boom! There it hits the ground.
Splashdown confirmed.
Copy splashdown. Waiting on VLDR.
Splashdown confirmed at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time.
All right, there it is. That's what it looked like.
From the pages of Jules Verne to a modern-day mission to the moon.
There we go. Awesome. All right, so we're going to start off. There's a new information came out in the Charlie Kirk case. And they have the search warrant right here. And we're just going to go through it. Because now it has a whole bunch of stuff that we never had before. You guys interested in that or what? All right, can you go out and share the video? Because I'm serious when I tell you in 9 minutes, if we're still hovering around 50, 60, I'm not doing the show. Okay, I just can't do it. I can go work on something else, you know. Yeah. So go put out a video, you know, go share it, whatever, something out there. There's no reason my show can't have 200 and something people watching right now, is there? Nothing. They don't sheesh what? What does that even mean? What a stupid sentence. Type something that works. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, we only got 62 people here. Well, I don't care if you don't want to stick around, Joey. I don't want you here anyways. Do you get what I'm saying, Joey? You're a troll. That's why you showed up. You're probably partially responsible for this kind of stuff. Okay, see you later, Psalm. The trolls are all in here. Block all those people. You weren't excited to hear the show, Joey. You're one of the trolls, okay? All right. Let's see. I'm just telling you, I can't do a show like this. Right? There's no reason for it. I feel like YouTube just screws me over. And, you know, if you're a conspiracy nutter, you get 22,000 people watching. If you're somebody else, you get 50 people. Now, I've asked YouTube 1,000 times, and they just go, well, you know, and they don't even have people that know what they're saying. See, all these people that are making these comments are the troll community showing up, feeling like it's their time, you know. Look at how you're talking to people, and you want to talk about trolls. Oh. Jesus, what a loser. Jesus, you gotta be kidding me. All right. Anyways, all right, let's go try to go through this here. I'm not talking. Yeah, see, what's weird is I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking to YouTube. You have nothing to do with why there is only 70 people watching. So to sit there and think it's about yourself, that means you're an egotistical, narcissistic pile of crap. Nobody was talking about you. I just said, I don't know if I'm going to do the show if we've only got 50 people here. Because it's just an absolute waste of time for me. I can't, you know... I don't know how to... If you don't understand it, then that means that your brain doesn't work correctly. All right? I bet you if I came back on at 10 o'clock tonight, went live, I'd have way over 100 people. It's just sort of like sometimes YouTube, you put a video out or a live stream, and you just get into this abyss. And somehow, your video doesn't make it to the subscribers that... You know, I have almost... I don't even know what the number is now. 180,000 subscribers. How is it possible to have 50 people? See what I'm saying? Doesn't make any sense. I'm going to unhide these people. If they just continue on with their drivel, then remove them next time. All right? All right. Awesome. I know some people are expecting to be later show. Well, it just, you know, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, this is a normal time for me, 6:15, 6:30. Yeah, you didn't get a notification. That's what I'm saying. It's just incredibly disappointing and frustrating, you know. All right, so anyways, this is the document right here. And let's just see if... this part up here just talks about... let's see. Why does it say that? The information being requested during the following time period. 8/27. Oh, yeah, this is just for their warrant. This is a search warrant. But down at a certain point, I got to go up to the top here. And then scroll down. There's right here, it says list of items to be seized. I'm not really incredibly interested in that at this point. I just want to go over the facts to establish the grounds for issuance of a search warrant. That's what I want to go over. Yeah, I can see you, Birdie. Yeah, I get that all the time. Yeah. All right, let's see. Right here, it says your affiant agent, Justin. By the way, could you guys help support the channel? We're at 0. That would maybe help with some of the enthusiasm. We're just sitting here with 80-something people and 0 support. All right, your affiant agent, Justin Bowen, is employed by the Utah Department of Public Safety, State Bureau of Investigation, and is currently assigned to the Major Crimes Unit. Let's see. I don't really care about his background or anything like that. Here, he's completed specialized training, etc. The statement in the affidavit do not contain. Hey, thanks, Joel Burnt. Come on, freaks. Yeah, it's incredible. I am familiar with the facts and circumstances set forth herein as a result of a review of records, digital surveillance camera footage, and a conversation with other law enforcement officers and my own investigation efforts as more fully described below. Okay, so here we go. This is all this new stuff that we're going to get to see right here. All right. By the way, how could somebody think I'm talking to them when I say I'm not going to do a show if we have 50 people? Okay? Because it just means that it'll never recover. It never does. If it stays that way for any length of time. I've done this for a long time. Nobody's talking to any one of you individually. It doesn't mean that I don't value you or anything like that. It just means that the show having, being worth doing the show that night is very low. I mean, it's just a fact. All right, so here we go. On September 10th, 2025, Charles James Kirk, Charlie Kirk, was at the Utah Valley University campus in Orem, Utah for a political event. Hey, thanks, Sandy Shirley. Mr. Kirk is a conservative political activist who was scheduled to speak at an event in the courtyard area on the UVU campus. Some of this seems like stuff we've, probably similar wording. The courtyard area is to the west of the Losi Center building. According to video recordings, Charles was wearing a white t-shirt and dark pants sitting under a white canopy in the courtyard of the campus facing the east. Charles was holding a microphone and speaking to a crowd. So they're really just describing exactly, let's see. Yeah, right here, like here's the Losi Center building. I got to get the 3D element back on again. Yeah, right there. And then here's the tent. There's the white tent and everything. That's exactly where the tent was too. Like literally precisely where the tent is. And I put it there. There's an overhead shot that Reuters took, and I lined up all of these benches and everything, these levels, I guess. Not benches, the grass levels, and I laid it over the top, and it's just absolutely perfectly aligned. So there you go. All right, so I think this is sort of similar to the probable cause. This first portion here, or at least it's called the criminal complaint. While speaking into the microphone, a loud gunshot was heard. It was heard at approximately 12:23. It's 12:23 and 28 seconds, or 29. It could be even like 28 to 30. So it'd be 12:23. 28 or 30, between 28 and 30. And Charles appeared to have been hit in the neck. Blood was seen coming out of the left side of his neck as he fell over to his left. Charles was transported to the Timpanogos Regional Hospital in Orem. Charles was pronounced deceased at the hospital. Charles' body was transported to the office of the medical examiner, where an autopsy was performed on the body. According to information obtained from the police officers who attended the autopsy, Sergeant Barnett so this is stuff we haven't heard before. Attended the autopsy, Sergeant Barrett with the Utah State Bureau of Investigation, Dr. Guardo with the Office of Medical Examiner concluded the autopsy and explained that he was going to certify that Charles Kirk's cause of death was a homicide caused by a gunshot wound. Of course, they made him say it, you know. They took him to a back room and said, hey, I know it looks different, but wait, you sign this thing. Investigators reviewed the Utah Valley University surveillance camera. While reviewing the surveillance camera, investigators observed an individual on the rooftop of the Losi Center building on the UVU campus at the time of the shooting. Hereafter, the individual was later identified as Tyler Robinson and will be referred to as Tyler Robinson or Robinson. They might call him Tyler Robinson or Robinson. Based on surveillance camera footage, Robinson appears to be a white male with dark-colored hair, wearing a blue-colored hat, sunglasses, a long-sleeved black shirt with a picture of an American flag and an eagle painted on the shirt. So that, let's see. I think I got it clear down here, the 14, 13, yeah. So they're saying, this guy right here, this is exactly what he had on. This shirt, a hat, pants, etc. Based on surveillance camera footage, Robinson appears to be, we did the white male, he had the dark-colored jeans and white-gray shoes with white-colored shoelaces. The shoes appear to be consistent with Chuck Taylor Converse-style shoes. Robinson is also carrying a dark-colored backpack on his back. Robinson walks with a distinctive gait prior to the shooting, meaning, because he has that limp because of the gun. Prior to the shooting, this says Robinson appears to walk with a stiff right leg and at a relatively slow pace. Robinson's ability to bend his right leg appears to be restricted. The investigators were able to track Robinson's movement on the UVU campus starting at approximately 11:50 hours. At approximately 11:50 hours, a UVU surveillance camera first captured Robinson walking across a grassy area north of Campus Drive at approximately 800 West. Robinson walks with, south through the parking lot. See, that's weird, too, because that wasn't, I think it does say that. So at 11:50, he walks south through the parking lot, and then through a tunnel. Then he approaches a pedestrian tunnel that was underneath Campus Drive. Robinson pauses briefly before entering the tunnel. This portion here is part of the criminal complaint, right? But there is a bunch of new stuff in here, but it's good to read it, put it all back together again, even though we kind of went over it the other day. So what they're talking about right there is he walked right here at 11:50, which matches the surveillance footage from this house perfectly. And then through the grassy area, into the parking lot, and through the tunnel there. Then he is seen going up the steps right there. Now, so he pauses at the top of the stairs and pulls out what appears to be a cell phone with his from his right pocket using his right hand at approximately 11:53 hours. Robinson appears to be manipulating the cell phone device with his hands, possibly texting. Robinson eventually puts what appears to be a cell phone back in his right pants pocket using his right hand. Robinson walks down the stairs and noticeably keeps his right leg mostly straight while walking down the stairs. See, that's something that they didn't say, I don't think, in that other document. So he keeps it mostly straight while walking downstairs. That's exactly how I told you guys it was going to look. Into the tunnel. Robinson walks through the tunnel and into the parking garage area. Robinson walks up the stairs to the second level. See, none of this is in there in that complaint. But this is exactly what us, the people who went there, determined exactly what he did. You get it? So Robinson walks up the stairs to the second level of the parking garage. While walking up the stairs in the parking garage, Robinson continues to keep his right leg straight. As Robinson approaches the landing on the stairs between the first and second floor, meaning Right here, coming up, right there, this is the landing. And there's the landing right there. Let's see what it says. Let's see. So it says, as Robinson approaches the landing on the stairs between the first and second floor, it appears as though there is something bulging out from Robinson's waistline area as he walks up the stairs. The bulge appears to be underneath Robinson's black shirt. And yeah, that's awesome. So we told you guys that this stuff would be out there. Oh, man. They're not going to talk about this on Candace Owens, okay? I mean, can I get a boom? Hey, thanks. Chris O'Connell. Hey, we got a challenge by Joel Burnt. Hey, thank you. And look at that. Chris O'Connell nailed it, and then Joel Burnt. Thank you, guys. You didn't even give time for Wild Bill Wassman, who always... That's pretty funny. Gotta have... Ooh, having a drink here. This is Friday, after all. Dealing with your the stress. Hey, thank you. Don't you think that... What do you mean, but boom? Oh, but boom. Okay. Yeah, isn't that amazing, you guys? Look at what it says right there. There's some, they can actually see on... Let's look at this, see if we can determine that. Yeah, they you know, because they watch the video, so you can see more. I wonder if it's like right in there. I don't know, but isn't that wild? Okay, Wild Bill, that was pretty funny. Thank you. Thank you, guys. And up above, the Alley Cake, Wild Bill Wassman, Sandy Shirley, and Joel Burnt. But just look at that, man. That is wild. I mean, it's cool to me because this is exactly what we were, kind of the stuff that we were telling people about. Let me, I'm going to highlight some of this stuff. Right there. The bulge appears to be underneath Robinson's black shirt and on the right side of Robinson's waist area. All right, and then it says at approximately 12:02. Let's see if we get a better description here now. I mean, this is going to be awesome. Robinson is observed walking on the north side of the Losi Center building, walking with the same gait as observed earlier, so they know it's the same person, has the same general clothing, the same gait, etc. Hey, thank you, Chris O'Connell. Walking with the same gait as observed earlier, Robinson walks south on the sidewalk on the east side. See, this is something we didn't hear, right? See that? Robinson walks south on the sidewalk on the east of the Losi Center. So let's see. What are they talking about? Isn't this cool? I mean, I'm just like pumped right here. This is crazy. So he walked, okay, when they say east, are they talking like he came out here and then he walked this way? He walked like that. So he doesn't cut across the grass. He makes his way to the sidewalk, then goes like this, and then turns right, and then stays on the sidewalk. All right, I guess I'll have to change that map a little bit. Walks south on the sidewalk on the east side of the Losi Center building. Robinson enters the Losi Center building through a set of doors on the southeast corner of the Losi Center building. At approximately 12:15 hours, Robinson is observed walking up the stairs that led to the common area adjacent to the Losi Center building. Robinson walks to a short concrete wall. Now, let me put this in here. I gotta highlight that. Walking with the same gait. Let's see. Robinson enters. Okay, right there. I just want to highlight the stuff that I know is new. It says Robinson climbs. Let's see. Robinson observed walking up the stairs that lead to the common area adjacent to the Losi Center building, and that's on the roof. Robinson walks to a short concrete wall that separates the common area from the rooftop of the Losi Center building at approximately 12:17 hours. And then it says Robinson climbs over the short wall. That's at 12:17. He climbs over the short wall and appears to crouch down on the north side of the wall on the rooftop. At approximately 12:22 hours, Robinson stands up and starts running across the rooftop of the Losi Center building. Robinson runs to the west side of the rooftop and appears to scoot along the rooftop area to get as he gets closer to the edge of the rooftop. At approximately 12:22 hours, Robinson lays down in a prone position near the edge of the rooftop and appears to be facing west in the direction of the courtyard area. The rooftop of the Losi Center building overlooks the courtyard area where the event featuring Charlie Kirk was taking place. The Losi Center building is east of the courtyard area. At approximately 12:23 hours, Robinson stands up suddenly, and it's 12:23, like 30, when he stands up suddenly from the edge of the rooftop and sprints north on the rooftop of the Losi Center building. And so what he's going to do right now is on this building, he stands up right there at like 12:23:28. That's when the shooting happened, maybe 30. Stands up, he runs, he goes right by here. We see the video that was released start there at 12:23:34. So we actually have that time. Then he runs across just like this. And he literally kind of comes in and he's like this. And then he runs over here and then he puts the rifle, sort of lays it down, then puts his foot down and then jumps with it in his hands, covered with a black towel. All right, let's see. It's just crazy. Only 90 people, man. This is like good stuff. Let's see. So that was at 12:23. This sprinting motion. Okay, now we've got a little different stuff. Robinson stands up suddenly from the edge of the rooftop and sprints north on the rooftop of the Losi Center building. This sprinting motion is in stark... There you go. This sprinting motion is in stark contrast to the slow and restricted gait observed by Robinson in earlier surveillance camera footage. So even when he's walking in front of the Losi Center before going in, he's limping around. Robinson runs to the northeast corner of the Losi Center building and approaches the edge of the rooftop. I just showed you where that was. Robinson places a dark-colored item on the rooftop and proceeds to lower himself off the rooftop. Robinson drops off the rooftop onto the grass below. Robinson runs north near the parking lot to the east of the Losi Center. At approximately 12:24 hours, Robinson runs north across the campus road. All right, so now we know as soon as he jumps off this roof, just like my red line here, he runs over here, goes across the road. Now, this might be the new stuff that I was telling you about. Let's see if they say it. Here we go. Building and approaches the edge of the rooftop. Okay, so Robinson drops off the rooftop onto the grass below. Robinson runs north near the parking lot to the east of the Losi Center. At approximately 12:24 hours, Robinson runs north across Campus Drive Road. The area to the north of Campus Drive Road where Robinson crossed over is a grassy area with trees on the edge of the UVU campus. Investigators discovered a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a dark-colored towel. The rifle was determined to be a Mauser Model 98 30-06 caliber bolt-action rifle. The rifle had a scope mounted on top of it. Investigators noted inscriptions that had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices Bulge." OWO. What's this? I think it's actually UWU, though. Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey, fascist, catch," up arrow. Yeah, we've already gone through this. Investigators documented a shoe impression on the northeast corner rooftop edge of the Losi Center building. Yeah, here, let's take a look at this really quick. I'll show you this. It's pretty cool. Hey, thanks, Chris O'Connell, Joel Burnt, and Wild Bill Wassman. Hey, thank you for the coffee. Lisa Valenzuela. And also Von Brott. She sent me a coffee earlier. She switched over because she was using Apple Pay. All right, hold on. I'm just about there. There, and there, and then there, and then... All right. Here we go. So if you're somebody new here, you haven't seen any of this stuff, you'll probably find it interesting. It's something that, probably Barron or Candace Owens would never show you because it sort of implicates their guy. So let's take a look at this. Okay, I went there really quick. So it's early on. I didn't even know what I just put it up there for the hell of it, you guys. I didn't even know what I didn't know. Hey, look up there. See, right here is where Tyler Robinson's hand slid off. They know that he touched right there. And those could be where they swabbed for DNA. I think, I'm almost certain that they have Tyler Robinson's DNA off that roof. I think this is where he put his foot right over here. That's where his hand was. And this might be sort of, where the backpack drug off, something like that. But there it is, right? And I think the footprint might be on this one. See how they have that mark there? I think somehow, I've even looked in there, and sometimes I see, it's just not as clear as this one because of the coloring, but I just think that there might be a footprint there. However, there could easily be one on the top or, just up there somewhere. All right, so that approximately 12:24, Robinson runs across the, we already did that. And then we did the part about the inscriptions. Investigators documented a shoe impression on the northeast corner rooftop edge of the Losi Center building. This shoe impression was located in the vicinity where Robinson climbed down from the rooftop. The shoe impression is consistent with the shoe sole characteristics of a Converse Chuck Taylor shoe. Now, we know Tyler Robinson likes Chuck Taylor shoes, and maybe the color that he was using, he tossed those away, but, that's just sort of a piece of circumstantial evidence where if they can't find the gray color ones, we know that he has black ones, who knows what other colors. And his DNA is going to be, it's on the, it's just not in question whether or not Tyler Robinson was there, you guys. I mean, his DNA is on the trigger of the rifle they found. His DNA is on the blanket, the towel that was wrapping the gun. It's just an absolute certainty. It's not, we just put all the pieces of the puzzle together. Now, we don't mention other people in here, though. Nosy Google, so we're going to have to get rid of that. Sorry. If I want to mention somebody, I'll do it. Yeah. All right. Let's see. While processing the crime scene, evidence technicians were able to identify the locations where Robinson, through physical contact, oh, look at that, see, had left potential biological evidence. Touch DNA transfers when skin cells from touch or sweat are shed onto the object during direct or indirect contact, and it can also transfer from one person to another. This type of DNA evidence comes from epithelial cells or skin cells that contain cellular DNA and can be recovered from a wide range of surface with the use of forensics DNA techniques. This evidence was collected in order to obtain potential DNA profile for Robinson. Evidence technicians also identified fingerprints and a smeared palm print in the vicinity of the northeast corner of the rooftop. Boom! Isn't that incredible right there? Well, of course, everybody has restrictions like that. It's also just rude to do that, trying to get people to be aware of somebody else's. We're just doing our own show here. Yeah. Well, I'm the first one to show it, and everyone uses what I found on their show, and they don't give credit. They just use it. So all of these marks right here are what they're talking about. Like right there, maybe that's where the palm print was. And maybe, they swabbed in this area. And then there's obviously a shoe print somewhere else down here. Don't know. All right. Where are we at? Okay, we're down here. Then on September 11th, 2025, Sheriff... You know what's weird about this? This seems like it was like a year and a half ago. It's crazy that it was just like in September. Well, why would he? It's the next day. He probably took a shower. Who knows? So I know, hey, Psalm 97, you probably think that he's innocent, but yeah, it's just crazy. On 9/11/2025, Sheriff Smith with the Utah County Sheriff's Office received a phone call at approximately 10 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the evening, 8:04. All right, so look at the times here, you guys. All this stuff that's coming out on Twitter. Oh my God, Tyler Robinson was texting when he was already in custody. How is that possible? He was arrested. Blah 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 blah. It was 8:04 hours. That's when. So a call came in at approximately 8:04 from Sheriff Brooksby with the Washington County Sheriff's Office. According to the Sheriff Brooksby, he had received a phone call from a former deputy who had previously been employed with the Sheriff's Office. The former deputy, identified as Mike Mitchell, explained that he had received a phone call. Isn't that weird? People said his last name was Robinson. Explained that he had received a phone call from the father of Tyler Robinson. Mike Mitchell explained that Tyler Robinson confessed to his father and that he was the shooter at Utah Valley University. Tyler Robinson's parents worked with law enforcement to arrange a way for Tyler Robinson to turn himself in without confrontation. Now, this whole thing is new here. And I think right here, this stuff. Without confrontation with law enforcement, Mike Mitchell coordinated with law enforcement to have Tyler Robinson meet with law enforcement at the Washington County Sheriff's Office. Tyler Robinson arrived at the Washington County Sheriff's Office accompanied by his parents at 10:26. Man, this just blows like the Barons and the Candace's theories. They thought they were onto something. It just blows them out of the water because, of course, he can still be texting at 7:30 because he's not even in there yet and he still has his phone. Tyler Robinson was not wearing clothing consistent with the clothing observed. So it was not wearing clothing consistent with clothing observed on surveillance cameras during and around the time of the incident. I thought at one point I thought it said he was wearing. Maybe I always misread that. I don't know. Tyler Robinson arrived at the Washington County Sheriff's Office wearing a dark-colored hat. Oh, I think he meant to say was, not was not. Maybe, let's see. Wearing a dark-colored hat, a maroon-colored T-shirt. They meant that's the typo here is the word not. Tyler Robinson was wearing clothing consistent with the clothing observed on surveillance cameras during and around the time of the incident at UVU. According to a photo provided to me by Agent Davis with the Utah Bureau of Investigation, Tyler Robinson arrived at the Washington County Sheriff's Office wearing a dark-colored hat, maroon-colored T-shirt, jeans, and a white-gray colored Converse-style shoes. Okay, well, So that's obviously an error when it says not, right? Because that's exactly what Tyler Robinson was wearing when he was at the Dairy Queen, right? And by the way, can you guys please help support the channel so we can keep on moving along? We're hitting one of those, the lull periods where we're just, you know, got to keep the momentum or we aren't going to make it. We don't have a big crowd, so we do have 126 now. That's a miracle. Let me get the, just that. Trying to find the Charlie Kirk. It's down there on the 13th. Stills. Now that one was later, right? The one over at the Dairy Queen. I'm just looking for it really quick. There it is. Look at that. Let's read this again, you guys. All right? Let me read this again. You guys are going to just... It's crazy. It's crazy. Listen to this. Tyler Robinson arrived at the Washington County Sheriff's Office wearing a, listen, dark-colored hat, a maroon color t-shirt, jeans, and white-gray colored Converse-style shoes. He has every one of those on in this picture right here. So the word not was incorrect. That was a typo. Thank you, Lisa and Cheryl Bullock and Wild Bill Wassman. The legendary bass fisherman. All right, there we go. Yeah. What do you mean level up? What do you mean? I don't get it. Isn't that incredible, though, you guys, what I just read to you? In the document, he's wearing exactly the same stuff. And by the way, you remember when he was driving home and he stopped to get gas, he was wearing exactly the same thing, right? He was wearing exactly the same thing when he went to get gas. What does that mean? Chris, yeah, channel. I'll give 5 memberships for each freak that levels up. Oh, you mean goes up another level? You mean go to like Oogla Boogla? Yeah. We'll see. Tyler Robinson's mother relayed to law enforcement that Tyler Robinson had expressed having, ideations of taking his own life. Sergeant Elsholtz with the Utah State Bureau of Investigation provided me with a photograph of Tyler Robinson, Utah driver's license. The driver's license was taken from the person of Tyler Robinson by Agent Davis with the Utah State Bureau of Investigation. Yeah, it's kind of that's a hard one for people to know. On 9/12 at approximately 1 a.m., FBI Special Agent Lang, and this is like, so that night when he's at the police station at 10:26, 2.5 hours later, FBI Special Agent Lang conducted an interview with the boyfriend, meaning Twiggs, of Tyler Robinson at the Washington County Sheriff's Office. The boyfriend was identified as Lance Twiggs. During the interview, Lance showed investigators text messages between Tyler Robinson and himself. The following is the content of those messages between Tyler Robinson and Lance Twiggs. First message, Tyler said, "I'm still okay, my love, but I'm stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet." Second message, "Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I'm sorry to involve you. You were the only one who did it." Let's see. So is this a different one? Third message. Lance said, you weren't the one that did it, right? Fourth message says, "I am. I'm sorry." Fifth message. I thought they caught the person. 6th message. No, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. 7th message. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering. Let's see. Well, I just think a lot of people won't do that one, Chris O'Connell, but I appreciate your trying to do that one. I don't know. I mean, I'm not doing it. I just read what you guys are challenge was. Lance showed FBI Special Agent Lang additional text messages between Tyler Robinson and himself. The following is the content of those messages between Tyler Robinson and Lance Twiggs. First message. 3 hours ago, there was an officer. See, I think this is all new. 3 hours ago, there was an officer with a canine walking near the area, hoping that pooch has a bad sniffer. Wow. See, so there was a dog there, apparently. Second message, Tyler, I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle, because it sounds like the police couldn't get in for a long while because of traffic. Huh. So this is all new here, I think. Third message, needless to say, I'm a be late coming home, my bee. Fourth message, Lance, just stay safe. Fifth message, Tyler said, I will. Sixth message, Tyler, I'm more worried about my old man, what my old man would do. See, this is the stuff where there was the ... But yeah, we definitely could use some more, a couple challenges more. We'd be on a good path. Let's see. Third message, Tyler, needless to say, and then we're down. Now, this part down here is different, too. My old man wouldn't do it if I didn't bring back, let's see, sixth message. I'm more worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. That's in there. Seventh message. He's far scarier than any Fed. Eighth message by Tyler. Guess I'm just sitting in my car watching reels for another hour, hoping this guy F's off. So he's waiting. There's this cop just lingering around right there. Yeah, when you do upgrade, it does show up on the screen. So Chris O'Connell's challenge for you guys is if you upgrade from the lowest level to like Oogla Boogla Freaks, she'll donate $5 every time somebody does that. That's what her challenge was. Ninth message by Lance. Are you okay? Okay, the eighth message by Tyler says, guess I'm just sitting in my car watching reels for another hour, hoping this guy walks away, F's off. So there's a cop lingering around. Ninth message by Lance. Are you okay still? I guess they all put the word still. They both do still at the end. 10th message by Tyler. Yes, checking spot against now, Will. Let's see. Yes, checking spot again now, Will. Wow, that's weird. You mean like, yes, I will check the spot now again. But you put will at the end? I don't even know what that means. Lance showed FBI Special Agent Lance showed FBI Special Agent Lang additional text messages between Tyler Robinson and himself. The text messages were photographed by investigators as Lance showed them the text messages. The following is the text content of one of the pictures that investigators took of messages between Tyler Robinson and Lance Twiggs. The first message from Tyler: "I'm sorry, but I think this might be it. If the way is clear, I can try and come your way to say goodbye. After that, I have a spot in mind that I'll call the police to." Second message by Lance: "Are there cops outside?" By Lance: "Are there cops outside?" And then third message by Lance: "And why are you calling the police anywhere?" Fourth message by Tyler: "Not yet, but I have no doubts that they will be on me within the hour." So he's already back home, because he got home in the morning time, basically. If you remember that, at the gas station wasn't far from where he lives, and that was in the morning. But hey, guys, could you please help support the channel? That would be fantastic. We started off pretty good, and then we've hit a pretty big lull. And I'll be giving my location up and going out on my own terms. So basically, this whole thing, this whole spot is... This is all new. I mean, most of it. And I will be giving my location up and going out on my own terms. I have no intention of being drugged through the courts in front of the country. Can I come see you after that? I can call my dad and see if he's willing to help me or not. Fifth message by Lance: "I'm just at my parents' right now. Maybe I could make an excuse to head home for a bit." Sixth message by Tyler: "You would need to do that right now." Seventh message, Lance says: "Any ideas?" I was actually wondering if they saw each other one last time. Man, we had a whole nother challenge going and it just died down. Nobody did it. That sucks. That would have got us to 60%. Lance showed FBI Special Agent Lang additional text message between Tyler Robinson and himself. The text messages were photographed by investigators as Lance showed them the text messages. The following is the text content of one of the pictures that investigators took of messages between Tyler Robinson and Lance Twiggs. The first message was for an excuse. Oh yeah, so he's replying to any ideas? How you can come over? And he says, for an excuse? I don't know. Second message by Tyler: "For getting out of this? None. Short of my family being willing to cover for me, I'm effed." Jeez. Third message by Lance: "I'm not going to be able to leave." Fourth message by Lance: "What's something urgent?" Hey, thanks, Alley Cake and Wild Bill Wassman. "What's something urgent I would need to leave for to come visit?" Fifth message by Tyler: "You could say I told you there is an emergency at home that I need you for, with few details." Sixth message by Lance: I said I'm swapping laundry, heading home now." Seventh message by Tyler: "Nice, I will see you soon." Eighth message by Tyler: "Coworker had just sent me the still of me on campus." Wow. See, oh, wow, so that's something new right there, you guys. That means a coworker probably identified him too. Coworker has just sent me the still of me on campus. What is your ETA? Ninth message. Like 3 minutes. So the coworker who sent it to him probably went, "Man, that looks just like you, Tyler." And sent it to him. Oh boy. Jesus. And now that guy's gonna say, "Yeah, no, I thought it looked just like it." Lance showed FBI Special Agent Lang additional... Man, you know, it's weird. You read this and you're wondering what these brain-dead fools out there think he's innocent. They're just crazy. Hey, what's going on? What? I'm doing my show. All right, going home. All right, see you later. Love you, bye. All right, love you too, bye. Lance showed FBI Special Agent Lang additional text messages. Wait, co-worker? Yeah, man, that's just crazy, right? I mean, his co-worker sent it to him. We know, that's all new right there. I mean, nobody knew that. Lance showed FBI Special Agent Lang additional text messages between Tyler Robinson and himself. The text messages were photographed by investigators as Lance showed them the text messages. The following is the text content of one of the pictures that investigators took of messages. Because you remember, Lance showed him, and then an officer just took pictures as he flipped through them. And these are ones that we haven't heard. Most of these we haven't seen. The following is the text content of one of the pictures that investigators took of messages between Tyler Robinson and Lance Twiggs. The first message by Lance says, "Why?" And then this one we have seen. Second message, "Why did I do it?" It's actually more relevant if you see it in order, because it shows that like he was confused because he had just said something really long prior. It's actually up above. The third message, Lance said, "Yeah." Fourth message, "I've had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out." Fifth message from Tyler, "If I'm able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything in the news about them finding it. We'll update you by midnight." See, some of this stuff's new, you know. Sixth message, all right. Seventh message, "Stay safe." Eighth message by Lance, "How long have you been planning this?" Ninth message, "A bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there's a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it." Lance showed FBI Special Agent Lang additional messages on his cell phone from a social media app called Discord. In one of the messages that Lance showed to investigator, the user Tyler Ickham posted the following message in a group chat. "Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all this. I'm surrendering through a sheriff friend in a few moments. Thanks for all the good times and laughs. You've all been so amazing. Thank you for everything." A Facebook post was made by Turning Point USA on August 27, 2025. The post announced that Charlie Kirk would be part of the American Comeback Tour and that the first date of the tour would be September 10th, 2025 at Utah Valley University. So that was in the news, so he easily could have done it for a little bit over a week. But hey guys, can you please help support the channel? We're just frozen here at right around 55%. It'd be great to, continue on. We need some more challenges going. See, now I'm back to the point where I got to keep shepherding along the show. It'd be great if, we just sort of didn't have to do that. I could just keep reading. But I can't, because we need to make the goals to be able to, at the end of the month, donate in the thousands of dollars, as well as supporting my channel at the same time. That would be awesome. Hey, thank you, Chris O'Connell. Oh, boy. Lance showed FBI Special Agent Lang additional messages on the cell phone from social media app called Discord. And that was the one he said, "Thanks for everything." A Facebook post was made by Turning Point USA that said when it was. The 27th they posted it, said it'll be on the 10th. A search warrant was obtained for Lance Twiggs' cell phone during a review of the data and information stored on Lance Twiggs' device. The Statewide Information Analysis Center provided me with information for the 2 Apple ID addresses associated with Twiggs' device. The Apple ID emails were lancetwigs@icloud.com and meme instead of dreams@gmail.com. Let's see. That's interesting. Here, I'll have to look those up later. Let me highlight those. Tyler Robinson and Lance Twiggs both were communicating, refer to the aforementioned text messages on Apple iPhone devices. According to information obtained from FBI investigators who reviewed the information stored on Lance Twiggs' device, Twiggs took a photograph of a letter that Tyler Robinson wrote to him. For context, Tyler Robinson had sent a message to Lance Twiggs on September 10th, 2025 that said, "Drop what you are doing. Look." Okay. Twiggs took out a photograph of a letter that Tyler Robinson wrote to him. For context, Tyler Robinson had sent a message to Lance Twiggs on 9/10/2025 that said, when you say sent him a message, so this wasn't under the keyboard, of a letter that Tyler Robinson wrote to him. The context, Tyler Robinson had sent a message to Lance Twiggs on September 10th, 2025 that said, "Drop what you're doing." Oh, that's right. Look under your keyboard. That's right. That's what the message said. During Lance Twiggs' interview with investigators, he explained that he found a handwritten letter underneath the keyboard. Isn't that weird? Well, I think we sort of had a little bit of an indication on there, but I think it's much more than we thought. Based on information from Tyler and Lance's phone, it is believed that Tyler Robinson, thank you, Ingrid84. Can anybody pronounce that one? Let's say Ingrid Travel 84. Is that right? Moondala Hala. Hey, thank you. Chris O'Connell. Yeah, that's just so cool. I hope the guy, you know what? I hope we go to Mars in my lifetime, you know. I think that would just be so freaking crazy, right? That's Marty's Bar and Grill's Red Breast. Oh, Long Travel 84. Okay. Oh, okay, I get it. We'll just put an O in there and spell it out. I can't even tell that's an L or a capital I. They look probably the same, I would imagine. All right, let's keep going here. According to information obtained from FBI investigators who reviewed the information stored on Lance Twiggs' device, Twiggs took a photograph of a letter that Tyler Robinson wrote to him. For context, Tyler Robinson had sent a message to Lance Twiggs on September 10th, 2025, the same day of the shooting of Charlie Kirk, that said, "Drop what you're doing. Look under your keyboard." During Lance Twiggs' interview with investigators, he explained that he found a handwritten letter underneath the keyboard. Based on information from Tyler and Lance's phone, it is believed that Tyler sometimes refers to Lance as Luna. The following is what Tyler Robinson wrote on the letter to Lance Twiggs. Based on the photograph found on Lance's phone, Luna, it says, on Lance's phone, then it says, "Luna, if you are reading this per my text," so this is all new right here. All right, "Luna, if you are reading this per my text, then I am sorry. I left the house this morning on a mission and set an auto text. I am likely dead or facing a lengthy prison sentence. I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I took it." That's all they showed us before, you guys. That's all they showed us before, is that part. Remember that in the documents? That's all it showed us. That's right, lunatic. You got it. You nailed it. Hey, thank you, Shay Edel. Or is it Eddie? Or it looks like Edel. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support. And thanks everybody else for supporting the channel. You know, really appreciate it. Keeps the channel going. I have a lot of expenses and software and stuff that I use for that I do. And then we also donate tons and tons of money each month. We're at 12,000 this year so far. So we are still doing good things out there. And I did get an update from Dr. Colleen Fitzpatrick. They found some more DNA, I think, in the torso case that we're doing out of Indiana. So we'll see how that goes. But man, let's go to this. Let's start over. Luna, if you are reading this per my text, then I am sorry. I left the house this morning on a mission and said in auto text, I am likely dead or facing the lengthy prison sentence, or a lengthy prison sentence. I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I took it. That's all we knew that was in that letter. And as a matter of fact, that's all we thought it said. I don't know if I will have succeeded. So this is like, he's saying he doesn't know if he's going to succeed because he's put this letter before he even left. But I had hoped to make it home to you. And I guess he did. I wish we could have lived in a world where this did not feel necessary. I wish I could have stayed for you and lived our lives together. I lack the words to express how much I love you and how very much you mean to me. Please try and find joy in life. I love you always, Tyler. I wonder why he had her read it, or him read it, or whatever you want to say. When he's still, walking, he's out and about. Maybe that's when he thought he was going to take his own life, and he just got convinced not to. That's crazy, though, right? I mean, that is the letter. That is so different than what we had. But he's innocent, you guys. He really is. What about the Egyptian plane, you guys? The Egyptian plane. What about Fort Watuka? Whatever the hell. What is this crap these people are talking about? It's unreal. Well, thanks, Chris O'Connell. Moon dollars are worth the same, but are light and spongy. Slightly pockmarked, too. They should make them. Make a dollar bill that has these little... Anyways, thank you. Through my training and experience, I know that Apple stores information associated with their Apple and Apple iCloud account users. This information is associated with specific users and is uploaded to a user Apple iCloud account. This information includes, but is not limited to, communication history, FaceTime and call history, photographs, video location, history, map, navigation, etc., etc., etc. A search warrant is being requested in accordance with Utah Code Title 77, Chapter 23, blah, blah, blah. So that's all, this is all like that technical mumbo-jumbo. Application for non-disclosure. Yeah. So that was it right there. But man, Jesus, that was like 10 times more powerful than the original, probable, I guess it's called the charging documents. Wasn't that crazy? Wow. Unbelievable. Okay, where are you going, Paulette? You don't need to come back. Just go to sleep, or whatever it is. I don't know what you're. Why do we need to know? Let's see. We got, I wish others would support the show. Yeah, it's like we always have, it's always kind of the same people. You know, it'd be nice. But yeah, we've had a few different people tonight, you know. Shay, Eddie, or Edel. Long travel. Or what do you, what, I forgot what it was supposed to be again. Wow, look at this. We got one from Marty's Bar and Grill again. If you guys send in 10 individual coffees, or not coffees, just super chat, $5 super chats or more, or gifted memberships, 10 gifted memberships, he'll send that a whole amount, $50, to the coffee app. That'd be awesome. Thank you. The only problem is 10 of you have to, you know, be support the channel somehow. Oh boy. Hey Marty, look at that. That's your the red breast right there. Right, exactly. Well, let's see, you guys. And there's Wild Bill Wassman. Oh, looks like Von Brott, Tracy Von Brott sent another coffee in there. Thank you. She sent one earlier today, too. And then, oh, Lisa Valenzuela. Do you get 2 of them? Well, thank you. That was really nice. Very cool, very cool. Thanks, guys. Well, what did you guys get out of this? Didn't you just find this insane? I mean, like, just absolutely mind-bogglingly. What is Candace Owens going to say about this? What is Candace Owens going to say about this stuff? Or, you know, Coleman. What's he going to say? Baron Coleman. What's he going to say about this? It's just always, there's just not right. We don't trust law enforcement, so therefore, it's just crazy, man. This part here is kind of key. It tells you the whole timing of everything, and then, you know, how it came to be, and then also, they do have an error in there. It says Tyler Robinson was not wearing clothing consistent. That's what they meant to say, was wearing. Because they went down and described exactly what he's wearing when he's at Dairy Queen. What the heck? Caruso Cuddle. Anyways, thank you guys. That was very kind of you guys. We got Wild Bill Wassman, Joel Burnt, Shay Edel, and Alley Cake, and Chris O'Connell. Yeah. I think this is just incredible. I mean, look at the note that he left under there. Let's go to that. Just that one part. He's talking to Twigs. If you are reading this per my text, then I'm sorry. I left the house this morning on a mission and set an auto text. I wonder why you set an auto text to check under your keyboard when, if you had got your gun, you still would have sent the text and he would know, and you said you wanted to keep it secret till you died. So why was there an auto text? He's kind of dumb, you know? Think about that. He has an auto text that he's sending that says, hey, check under your keyboard, with this letter that he left. And then he says at one point, I'd hope to keep this secret, you know, but the auto text told you to look under the keyboard for the evidence that you did it, and you were still walking about trying to get your rifle. Pretty weird, huh? Says, if you are reading this per my text, then I'm sorry. I left the house this morning on a mission and set an auto text. I am likely dead or facing a lengthy prison sentence. I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk. This is, like I said before, that's the only portion that was in the charging documents. I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I took it. Remember that? And that was it. I don't know if I will have succeeded, but I had hoped to make it home to you. I wish we could have lived in a world where this did not feel necessary. I wish I could have stayed for you and lived our lives together. I lack the words to express how much I love you and how very much you mean to me. Please try and find joy in this life. I love you, always, Tyler. I mean, that's a confession letter. Like the defense team, this judge is not going to be one of the ones that says, well, we don't know if he wrote it. It's too prejudicial. No, he wrote it. Prove, what's going to happen? They might have a hearing on this at some point. The defense team is going to want to get that removed, that confession letter. And then the prosecution is going to show the sort of the provenance of it. Like, hey, look, here's his cell phone. He did put in a auto-generated text message that sent out that one message, and then the note was there, and it's all, and I guess it's like a photograph of the letter. I'm not sure why that's all why did Twiggs only take the photograph of it? I mean, if you're going to take a photograph of it, why'd you throw it away? Or just, I guess we'll have to see where that is. We don't know yet. And thank you, Marty's Bar and Grill. Do we get another troll in here again? You are the rudest people I've ever heard of. I'm sorry, Lisa Stovall. Please. Oh my God. Where do these people come from? How are we being rude in here? Because we think Tyler Robinson's the killer? Is that, Sorry, everybody. We're the rudest channel in the world because we believe Tyler Robinson is the killer. I mean, what kind of a brain do you have? My God, people. They're going to go for a plea, but I don't think it's going to be accepted. I think this is a case that needs to go to trial. And, here's what I think they could do. You go to trial, no matter what, and perhaps he gets the death penalty, and then maybe that's where, in conversations with Erica and other people, let's reduce it down to life without parole. Just as some sort of a mercy thing. But it needs to make it out there because there's so many conspiracy nutters out there that there needs to be something that contradicts these people, Yeah. Yeah, well, I think there needs to be a trial. All right, well, I think I might be on or do one of those simulcast things tomorrow with Paramount Tactical on this same thing here, like going over this. What does it all mean? It's just, I think it's going to be at 11 o'clock my time in the morning. Don't mention it is what DMI means. Ah, man, that's so amazing. And that other part that was kind of cool was just how they said there was a new piece of information also when he was in the stairway going up in the, after going through the tunnel and then up the steps, they saw something bulging out of his shirt as well, and he was walking with a limp, so it continued on up. No. 2 Eastern. Alright, well, let's do the... Okay, I'll do my challenge now. Let's see, what are we at? Are we even close to that? Okay, we need 10 memberships, and then I'll donate 5. I'm just trying to get to the number where I normally donate. Alright, so if we get 10, I'll donate 5. Alright, let's see. We're going to go to... I know it's not as cool, Alright. So remember the case we were talking about last night? The Hooker case? I mean, it's not a hooker, but that's their last name. Over here in the Bahamas. Well, Ashleigh Banfield gave me permission to play the entire... She interviewed that daughter for like 25 minutes. So she said I could play it on here. So you guys want to do that? I think it might give us some good insight into this. So if you remember, let's see. Yeah, it's Lynette Hooker is missing. I don't know. I haven't looked at any updates today. Is there any updates? I guess my challenge didn't really resonate. All right.
Hey everybody, I'm Ashleigh Banfield and this is Drop Dead Serious, and they were tender, one of those little were the actual...
I don't want to watch like is that the dinghy? Jeez, that's a little... I just want to go to the interview part. There, right there.
It turned into...
She's talked to the press, she's talked...
I put the link in the sources portion of underneath the video. Okay, well, let's do it then. Hold on. Marty's sending in... Let's see, membership gifting. Here we go. I'll do 5. Thanks, Wild Bill. All right, so it's Lynette and Brian. Brian Hooker is her husband, and apparently they were over in the Bahamas, and they were on this island over here and they left it at 7:30 in a dinghy, and then apparently the story is that Lynette was on this little 8-foot dinghy, probably that one we were just looking at. Although you'd think it would be... That thing looked like a pile of crap. And... like she falls overboard but had the keys to the motor of the dinghy in her hand. So she... And then that got lost in the water. But he saw her in the water and then threw a flotation device but doesn't know if she caught it or anything. And then she goes somewhere else. He sees her swimming towards the shore somewhere. And then he doesn't have any way to navigate, so he ends up paddling around for 7 hours, But we, I mean, I don't know, when I say we, I don't want to speak for everybody else, but I think that the the reason he says that the key got tossed in the water is to explain away a long period of missing time, and that's why he didn't get to shore earlier. I think that he was moving around, doing stuff, and then eventually threw the key over. I think he still had the key, still had power to the motor, and then he threw the key overboard, and then he finally paddles to the shore to sort of add it, make a more convincing thing. All right. And then at the end of the show last night, that a lot of you missed because I went over it when you, like right when the show ended, KK sent us a link to more information. It was, let's see, where is this? Is it right here? Well, we don't need to see it, but it was like a few years, well, about 11 years ago, Lynette she got arrested for abuse of him. Like, he had a bloody nose, he goes upstairs, he's got a bloody nose, and so she got arrested for that. So it's obviously a sort of a violent relationship. It's very volatile. Both sides, and then something happened on this night where I think he probably snapped somehow, and she ended up wherever she ended up. Hey, that's so funny, Dirky. It's so funny, Dirky. Jeez, what a loser. Let's see. We got. Let's play this. Well, let's show these first. So somebody sent me these. So it's like, hey, did you see y'all on the news? ABC World News said Lynette fell off a boat. Yes, brother. I'm afraid so. Off the dinghy. This is him talking here. Afraid so. Off the dinghy in some choppy seas is what he meant without the D. On the way back to the sailboat. The wind blew me away from her, and she swam towards the sailboat, and we lost sight of each other pretty quickly, as it was just about sundown. I drifted and tried to paddle with one oar for the next 7 hours until I washed up behind the shore of the next island over and was able to get some help finally. We are all still searching. He writes like Tyler Robinson, putting that at the end. We are all still searching. A lot is going on right now, but I thank you for checking on us. Being on the news is a huge burden, and I just had my first ever news organization call me a few minutes ago. You're in our prayers. Thanks, Jim Long. And then I think, hold on. Okay, I don't know if this continues. I think I'm missing whatever is this. Thank you, friend. Our family is in hell right now. Search and Rescue just called and said they had searched so a bunch of areas today, and no joy. They're going back something tomorrow, but a storm is coming in Wednesday. I know the pressure on you is hard. I'm praying hard, and if you need to talk or anything, let me know. Do you have a place to stay on the island, or are you staying on the boat? Anyways, I can help. Any way I can help, please ask. Good morning, Daniel. Thank you for reaching out and supporting us. I got the boat back to Marsh Harbor yesterday after the fire department brought me back to my dinghy. I'm on a morning ball at a place, morning call maybe, at a place called Conch Inn, staying on the boat. My sister and brother-in-law are flying in later this morning to stay for a couple days, and I will probably stay with them for a night or two while weather happens, but then I plan on heading back out to the site and continuing the search. I will most likely definitely need help in the future, but I just don't know what it is yet. I'm trying to take it day at a time and keep the faith. Search and rescue is out again today before some big winds come tomorrow. We are here to help any way we can, currently in Shreveport, but our boat is on the north shore of the Lake Pontchartrain. We was actually going to buy a sailboat this week and bring both boats home to Shreveport. If you need anything, I will help where I can. Hey, congratulations on your sailboat, Captain, and thank you for your kind offer. I will be in touch as events unfold. I don't know, man. I don't think you talk with sort of like that in this. I don't know. Congratulations on your sailboat. That's just weird. Okay, that was it. All right, now let's watch Ashleigh Banfield. All right, it just seems so casual, Chris O'Connell.
To the authorities. She's talked to the U.S. Coast Guard. They're helping to liaise with her. She's talked to the U.S. Embassy. So this has been a living hell. So I'm very appreciative that she gave me this time. But here's our conversation. Carly, what is the latest that you've heard from the Bahamian authorities or the U.S. Coast Guard?
I heard from my lawyer that it turned into a criminal investigation last night. And last I knew, he got a lawyer in the Bahamas to represent him.
Has Brian made any overtures to you other than that initial voicemail and email that he sent?
He sent me some texts, and he has called a couple times, but otherwise, no.
And when he called, were you able to answer the phone? Did you have a conversation with him?
No, I did not. I just let it go to voicemail.
And what effectively did he say in those texts and voicemails?
Just that he wants to be there for Rosie and I, his other daughter, and that he's doing what he can to look for her.
Somebody at the end of the show yesterday had a good point. I don't remember what part it was, but it was something to do with not using. He just said, searching's going on for my wife, but it wasn't, or something similar, but it wasn't, like he didn't include himself in whatever he said. So that was sort of an interesting thing. I don't remember exactly where that was referring to.
Were you able to ask him any questions back, meaning what happened, lay it out for me, sort of get him on the record saying what he says happened to your mom?
When he called me Sunday night, I was still in shock when he was talking to me, so I didn't really say much. I just said, okay. It's just trying to process that. He tried to say that he was going to come up and visit, and he would like to see us, but I didn't respond to that, and then he quickly got off the phone.
And this is like 24 hours after your mom had disappeared, right? That he made this first contact with you?
Yeah.
Were you surprised on Sunday night when you got this information? Did he say anything about why he waited so long to tell you?
He did not tell me why, no, but I was very surprised that this happened, yes.
What's your relationship with Brian Hooker?
He's been in my life for about 25 years now, since I was about 4 years old. He has always been there. He acted like another parent to me. I just know that him and my mom had some rocky issues, but they never dragged me into it, so yeah.
So effectively, I saw one of the messages he said, it's Dad, when he reached out to you. Did you call him Dad?
No, I called him Brian. He was my stepdad.
Was it weird that in the message he said, Carly, it's Dad?
No, it's not weird. He has referenced that he's Dad before, but I never called him that.
It seemed as though in the Facebook statement, well, let me get your impression of his Facebook statement that he put out yesterday.
I think that's kind of weird, actually. Now, why would you, he's your stepdad. and he's been your dad since you were 4, it seems like you would just already be my kids call me dad. And I met them when they were like 20. You know, I just think it's weird when you're 4 that you're not referring to this guy as your dad. You know? What do you guys think about that? I mean, it's a stepdad, and I don't even know where the biological father is. But I don't know. I mean, he said dad.
It was really sad to see. I know he loved her in his own way a lot.
Yeah, but it was two-way street there, Shay. It wasn't just, it was, both of them abused each other.
I don't know,
yeah,
it just
maybe.
sucks to see right now.
Yeah. Did you think at all that it sounded defensive before it sounded concerned about your mom?
Yeah, I called my stepdad dad. He's my dad. My biological father wasn't. I mean, I think it'd be different. Like if you had a dad that was really good, and then your parents got divorced, and you know your dad was great and everything, and then so it'd be your stepdad. So it'd be hard to do that because you might feel like it's disrespectful. But if your biological father sucked, and your mom marries somebody else that treats you really good, why wouldn't you give him the respect to call him dad? You know what I mean? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
They are a bit weird.
Tell me a little bit about the relationship. You said that it's been rocky. How rocky and in what way?
Just that they get into fights more often when they drink, and I guess lately they've been
everybody's
drinking
just
more.
different.
So I'm just concerned that something happened that can't be undone.
And you know that they have been drinking more? In what way, and how do you know that?
Yes, my grandma told me that she's been confiding in her and their relationship problems, and that they've been fighting more, and that it's been embarrassing for other people to witness. And
Yeah, that's exactly what I was telling you guys yesterday about that friend of mine that used to have his ex-wife. He got remarried, but the first wife was just like crazy. I mean, out of nowhere, would just start yelling at him at a party or something. I mean, it was the weirdest thing. Like we'd be over at their house. They're the host, and she would just like totally embarrass him and throw stuff at him and do weird shit right in the middle of nothing. Nothing's happening.
she did send me a voice message
Only that she was drinking.
one night that she was really drunk, but I just kind of like ignored it. I was like, okay, Mom. She's like, I'll talk to you in the morning. I was
Sounds like a really dysfunctional family, to be honest.
like, okay. So I just kind of brushed it off, not thinking. Like, I knew drinking was a problem in their relationship. They went about a year and a half being sober because I knew the problems that would arise. But I just kind of was like, okay, she's an adult. She can handle it herself, I guess.
Were you concerned about the level of drinking between the two of them?
Yes, drinking is not really good for my family, it seems, so I just wish it never started again.
Do you know anything about where your mom and Brian were before they set out on the dinghy?
I know they went to Elbow Cay, I think it was, to go to a restaurant. That's all I know.
Has anyone in the restaurant, have you had a chance to talk to anyone in the restaurant about their condition or what was happening in that restaurant before they left?
No.
But is it normal for them to go ashore, go to a restaurant, and then go back?
Can you just park your boat somewhere out in the... Like you have a yacht, can it just sort of be out here anchored? Like just here? And they were going to take their yacht to go here. I don't know, it's confusing because it made it sound like their yacht was already over here. And then maybe they just took the dinghy ride over there. It would have only taken like 15 minutes to get from here to here maybe. Or less even. If because Wild Bill was saying maybe 8 miles an hour. So I'd like to know where the yacht was parked, though. So
Back out to the boat.
Yeah. Hey, I think it was to go to
I
a
just rewound it a
restaurant.
little bit.
That's all I know.
Has anyone in the restaurant, have you had a chance to talk to anyone in the restaurant about their condition or what was happening in that restaurant before they left?
No.
But is it normal for them to go ashore, go to a restaurant, and then go back out to the boat?
Yeah.
And the dinghy, I've seen in their social media, Brian driving around in a small dinghy, and I wondered if that's the dinghy that Brian is referring to.
Yes.
It's that small dinghy in the pictures.
A little plastic. That looks
So
like
on the back of that dinghy is a very small engine. It almost looks like it's a 2 or 4 horsepower. Do you know anything about that engine?
It's an electric engine. It goes only a couple knots.
Very slow.
All right,
Yeah.
we're at 1649. Let me see if I can. I think she probably has a picture of it in here, right? Let's see.
To Carly Aylesworth, Lynette's daughter.
There it is, right there. All right, Wild Bill. What? Tell us about this.
Were the actual little dinghy in question.
That is kind of a really unstable. I mean, 2 people in that thing. That's
The tender, the 8-foot tender, with that little electric motor on the back that only goes a couple knots, super slow. So bounced out, hard time believing that. Even with waves, you'd go like that. You wouldn't go bang, 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 because it doesn't get a lot of speed. And then the issue with the keys.
Yeah, why would the key even be in your hand, right? I mean,
Interestingly, Carly Aylesworth, Lynette's daughter, has cleared up a lot of information for me regarding that engine and the keys. And it's like a kill switch. It's something you actually plug in. It's got a string off
oh,
of
that's
it.
right. Yeah, I have an electric motor, Bixby, or I forgot the name of the damn brand, but it has a little, just like treadmills have. You know, it has like a magnetic thing that you have to have on the battery itself, and then if you happen to fall overboard, it pulls it off, and then the motor just dies, right? So maybe it's something like that.
And it gets the engine going, and it would require that.
I don't think it's a key. Maybe it might be a little thing that you just stick on there like a magnet, and then you turn it on, and then it'll kill it automatically if you separate from it. So I bet you it's not actually a key, because that sounds kind of weird, right? I think you. What do you think, Wild Bill? Yeah, I think that's all it is. You have to have it on there to run, and without it on there, it's not going to run.
Lynette would have probably been at the helm to have grabbed the string, pulled it out, and took it with her as she's going overboard. So a lot of that, again, pretty hard to believe. I'll suspend disbelief in the interest of everybody deserves,
No, I don't do that.
Oh, yeah, not the kind of thing that you would bounce around driving. Yeah. And did he at some point say that your mom had bounced?
Like I have this one for my Bixby motor. Okay, there's a motor, right? It's square, kind of long, and there's this little sort of indentation circular spot where I place this magnet, and then the other end has a little like lasso that goes around my wrist or my foot. Okay, and then it works, right? But if you can just grab the thing, and if you pull it off the motor just stops, right? But it's really meant for, just like on a treadmill, where you have the magnet on there and it's running, and then if you happen to go too far away, it goes, stops, and then the treadmill just stops on a dime. It's the same concept. They don't want you to fall in the water and have the motor spinning around and chopping you up in the water when it's a safety thing. And also it would make the boat could just take off too and keep moving and moving and moving. So there's like many reasons to have that. Yeah, a leash. Yeah. It's kind of like a leash with a magnet that kills it.
Out of the dinghy?
Yes, he did say that.
Did he describe that any other way? Like, is there any more description to what he said?
Nope.
Have you ever seen anybody bounce out of that dinghy at the...
Let me rewind.
Oh, yeah, not the kind of thing that you would bounce around driving. Yeah. And did he at some point say that your mom had bounced out of the dinghy?
Yes, he did say that.
Did he describe that any other way? Like, is there any more description to what he said?
I mean, I could see the bouncing out. Let's say it goes over a big wave and you can see her bouncing out. I mean, look at the guy, let's go back to that video again. Look, see how he's sitting on the rubber there? Imagine if there was waves it was choppy and there was big waves and he's going over them and all of a sudden, boom, it just, the momentum, and then she's on the back and gets shot out, bounced out. Actually, it does kind of make sense. I'm not defending. I think this guy did something. I'm just saying she bounced out isn't really like unreasonable, especially with the makeup of this little dinghy here.
Interesting.
Like a jet. Hey, Mom.
About
Hey.
not the kind of thing that you would bounce around driving. Yeah. And did he at some point say that your mom had bounced out of the dinghy?
Yes, he did say that.
Did he describe that any other way? Like, is there any more description to what he said?
Nope.
Have you ever seen anybody bounce out of that dinghy at the slow speed that it goes?
No.
Yeah, even with big waves, even if you were to go over someone's waves, it would almost feel like you'd go over them like a cork.
No way.
Not bounce over them with any kind of momentum, right?
Not if you had
You're right.
going 8 miles an hour.
And let's talk a little bit about the keys.
I would tend to almost agree with that if you're just floating and you're not moving. It would sort of go, but if you got like any speed, if you're going 4 to 8 miles an hour, it's going to hit the way, it would be all over the place. I know, it doesn't look like even anything. It's a shit dinghy. I thought it was that other one that we saw the other day that was kind of the smaller boat.
But he talks about the keys. Is it one of those kill switches that you put around your wrist with a coil that goes into the engine?
No.
What?
It's on a little string. It goes on almost like a jet ski would, but it just clicks in with a little string dangling from it.
And what happens? So you put that sort of system into the electric engine and it starts it?
Yep.
How would it go overboard? I mean, if you're driving, and would somebody have it around their wrist or be holding onto it, or what? Like, how do
I guess that does make more sense about the key now, though, you guys. I mean, so if you had it around your wrist and it's there like a dead man switch kind of thing, and you flip off, well, it stops the boat, and it's still on your wrist, and you're in the water, right? So I guess that makes sense.
Vision how that key could have gone overboard.
I've never seen anyone wrap it around their wrist.
That's what you're supposed
so
to
I'm
do
not
with it, though.
really sure how she got it.
Yeah.
She would have to really. I don't understand how someone.
But she didn't. The key is that she didn't normally ride the boat. Does he seem like somebody? Hey, you drive it today. Okay.
Could grab onto it when they're in the middle of falling.
It seems odd. Was there a coily kind of string on it, or was it just simply a device with some kind of a keychain on it?
Just a device with like a little rope on it.
A little rope.
Mm-hmm.
And did Brian say that your mom was driving?
Every time I drove with them, she never drives the dinghy. It's always Brian.
Did he claim that she was driving that night?
I don't believe so, no.
Is it possible that there would have ever been a circumstance where maybe Brian had too much to drink and Lynette took over the helm?
Maybe, but I highly doubt it.
Yeah, so it's possible. Yeah.
Did she know how to drive the dinghy? Could she have driven by herself if she wanted to?
Yes, she could.
Okay, well, that means she's driven it before then. I mean, the fact that she's over there saying, oh, yeah, she knows how to drive it, that means she's been there and she's driven it.
Good.
Yeah. And she's a strong swimmer, right?
Yes.
As is he. I think I saw that he's a Marine.
Yes.
So I'm trying to figure out, he says to the police that they left Elbow Key at 7:30 at night. But he didn't wash up on shore after having paddled and drifted for about...
That's right. Just try the red breast. It'll handle you.
9 hours.
Yeah.
Have you been able to see the distance that he's talking about?
He,
Hey, did you hear Joel Burnt? He said, "It smells fishy." You get it?
yes, someone got into his AIS system so they could see where he was, and it looked like he went up Elbow K like early in the morning Sunday. So I don't really know what happened between 7:30 and the time he went
bet he
up
didn't
the
even mean it that
went
way.
up the coast.
What's the AIS system?
It's like a tracking system for the boat.
But that would be a tracking system for Soulmate, the yacht, right? Not necessarily the small dinghy.
There is one for the boat, but I also think he has it on his phone.
What are they talking about?
But that would be a tracking system for Soulmate, the yacht, right?
Right.
Not necessarily
The dinghy.
the small dinghy.
There is one for the boat, but I also think he has it on his phone.
And so did you see his trajectory? Like, could you trace that he actually did float all the distance that he said he did?
It did say that they were in Elbow Key or K by the restaurant, and then
The restaurant.
later on that night it went up the coast.
Wait, hold on. No, but Elbow K's over here. No, yeah, but they were over on this island, remember? They were on Hopetown. This thing.
And you could actually see the distance that it had traveled. Any idea how far he had traveled in that boat, in the dinghy?
No idea.
Does she have a picture of this? I mean, that thing would be incredibly valuable.
But it did show that dinghy traveled the distance that he's talking about. Mm-hmm. Did the police know about that?
Yeah, I showed the Coast Guard.
It's fascinating. Mm-hmm. Also, tell me a little bit about what the Coast Guard has told you.
God, I'd like to see
From what
that.
I got when they were here, just that they were getting all the facts
like to see that.
know what could possibly go on. And then
Thanks, Vicky.
they went to Jackson to talk to more of our friends and family.
But the Coast Guard is working in the Bahamas. I think I read that the Coast Guard was part of the actual search and rescue teams in the beginning, right?
Yeah,
The U.S. Coast Guard's presence in the Bahamas at the Abaco Islands.
yeah.
And so are you dealing directly with the folks in the Bahamas, the Coast Guard representatives who are actually on site?
I have not talked to them. I have talked to the U.S. Embassy in the Bahamas just this morning. Finally got a call from them. So I know they're starting to do like their investigations and whatnot.
What did they tell you, the U.S. Embassy?
What exactly did they tell us?
That they're not the ones that do the investigation.
Oh, that they're not the ones to do the
They can
investigation.
be a liaison though to help us.
Wait, hold on a second.
Was just this morning. Finally got a call from them. So I know they're starting to do like their investigations and whatnot.
What did they tell you, the U.S. Embassy?
What exactly did they tell us?
That they're not the ones that do the investigation.
Oh, that they're not the ones to do the
They can
investigation.
be a liaison though to help us.
They can be a liaison to help us.
And so you've got a contact at the U.S. Embassy now, at least, that can help you understand the process and what comes next.
Yes.
Is anyone from your family at this point thinking of going over to the Bahamas to speak directly with the Royal Bahamian Police?
I think my stepsister was thinking about going down there. I know his sister's already down there. I was planning on going down there to look eventually if I can raise enough money, but otherwise, no one has talked to them yet.
And you have a GoFundMe, right?
Yes.
What's the name of your GoFundMe?
It is Help Find and Honor My Missing Mom.
So at this point, we don't know if Brian Hooker has actually been charged with this, right? Just that he's being detained.
Right.
Has anybody told you anything about the criminal investigation at this point and what they have found and what they haven't found?
No, they have not.
But still no sign of your mom.
Mm-mm.
When you first heard the news,
She's pretty good at like digging, just keeps, firing off questions.
that your mom was missing, did you suspect something nefarious right away?
I was too in shock when I was being told, but as I was processing it, stuff just didn't add up to me. It just seems very unlikely that she would just fall overboard. And why would she be swimming away from the boat? Why wouldn't she be swimming towards the dinghy?
That's actually a good point. I didn't even think of that. Like, you go in the water, aren't you going to head back to the dinghy when you're like way away from somewhere? Yeah, you'd head back to the boat.
Why didn't he drop anchor and look for her? Just doesn't really make sense.
Does the dinghy have an anchor?
Yes.
And do you have any
I
idea?
guess it's possible. What if the dinghy didn't have enough rope? That looks like the smallest damn,
Did anyone tell you about the actual currents in the place that they were between the yacht and land?
I did read
Hey, do you guys see Wild Bill over here? Or not Wild Bill. Jim Lawn said, I've been cruising around with a small dinghy my entire life. All right. That's Jim Lawn for you.
somewhere that it was only a couple knots the wind or the current was, but I did read that it was very windy, but the knots in the water, the tide was not going that fast.
So it didn't sound plausible. I mean, usually...
Let's do that again. That's the weather.
And do you have any idea, did anyone tell you about the actual currents in the place that they were between the yacht and land?
I did read somewhere that it was only a couple knots the wind or the current was, but I did read that it was very windy, but the knots in the water, the tide was not going that fast.
So it didn't sound plausible. I mean, usually where you anchor, it's safe harbor. It's a place where you're not going to be yanking on your anchor all night. So the distance, any idea how far from land the yacht was when they anchored and then took the dinghy into land? Like, how long was that journey that they had to make?
And then Marty said, let's see. Surgery has come a long way, Jim. Never too late, bud.
They did have to cross some water to get to the other island, but it's not very far if it's in the dinghy, right?
Boy.
Any idea how far?
Do you know how far? No idea. I've never been there. I was at a different island when I was there with them.
And also, do you have any idea how bad the weather really was? Because he said the weather was, really bad, and that's why Lynette fell over.
I just know it was about 20 miles per hour winds, and it was about 3 knots the tide was.
But not roiling seas and rain and thunder and lightning. It wasn't a storm of any
20
kind.
mile an hour wind's pretty big.
No. I don't believe they would go out in a storm like that anyways.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to make sense. I mean, the whole thing just seems very odd.
Hey, I got a question for you.
I have seen comments.
I got a question for you, Wild Bill. Hold on a second. Would you go in stormy weather with that device right there?
Were the actual...
I mean, I think that's like the biggest piece of evidence right there. Would you go out in 20 mile an hour wind and a little choppy in this
little
pile
dinghy
of crap
in question?
right here?
The tender, the 8-foot tender.
I think that's like the biggest piece of evidence right there. That's just the dumbest thing ever.
With that little electric motor on.
Yeah.
Temper in the past, things that you've witnessed. Can you tell me things that you've seen with regard to Brian's temper?
He gets away with his emotions sometimes. I've seen him do stuff to his daughter out of anger, and now I'm worried that it's happened to my mom, and it's something that he can't undo.
Have you ever seen him be violent with your mom?
What are you guys talking about? About the anchor. What are you guys referring to? The yanking on your anchor. What are you guys referring to? Did somebody say something on the interview, or is it in the chat somewhere? I'm just going to wait. Yeah, no life jacket, nothing. Yeah, I did Tyler Robinson at the beginning. Go watch it. The title says both of them. Go read it. Thank you. You didn't read it correctly, Chaos Mama. It's at the beginning of the show, the first part of the show. I did it. I almost didn't do the show because there was only 50 people watching, but then it got more. Yeah, it says the hookers at the end. They don't know anything about it, so they don't care, so they don't look into it. She said that on the, where? Right here? Like just a minute ago, or what? I guess I missed it. I'm always having to read comments, and I'm going to go back now.
But the Coast Guard is working in the Bahamas. I think I read that the Coast Guard was part of the actual search and rescue teams in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
The U.S. Coast Guard's presence in the Bahamas at the Abaco Islands.
Yeah.
And so are you dealing directly with the folks in the Bahamas, the Coast Guard representatives who are actually on site?
I have not talked to them. I have talked to the U.S. Embassy in the Bahamas just this morning. Finally got a call from them.
How far
So
after this was it?
I know they're starting to do like their investigations and whatnot.
What did they tell you, the U.S. Embassy?
What exactly did they tell us?
That they're not the ones that do the investigation.
Oh, that they're not the ones to do the
They can
investigation.
be a liaison though to help us.
They can be a liaison to help us.
And so you've got a contact at the U.S. Embassy now, at least, that can help you understand the process and what comes next.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That was the joke.
Is anyone from your family at this point thinking of going over to the Bahamas to speak directly with the Royal Bahamian Police?
I think my stepsister was thinking about going down there. I know his sister's already down there.
The Hooker husband and wife thing is interesting. It happened on the 4th. They have a volatile relationship. They're in the Bahamas. They were on a small little island with a dinghy, and he claims that the weather, she fell out, pulled the key went with her. It's kind of a kill switch kind of thing. Goes into the water with her, and then he had to paddle, and he's in the water for 7 hours, and he finally makes it to this other island that's way farther away than he needed to be going. But I guess the key is I need to see the map of where the dinghy and the boat went, the yacht.
Was planning on going down there to look eventually if I can raise enough money, but otherwise.
Yeah, I didn't call you a troll, boogaboo. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Yeah, we're covering something else right now, though, boogaboo. So either we keep discussing this case or go do something else, all right?
Otherwise, no one has talked.
Yeah, so we're covering this right now. We already covered the Charlie Kirk case, read through the entire search warrant earlier, found all the new things and how much more damning it is for Charlie Kirk, for Tyler Robinson and the shooting death of Charlie Kirk.
To them yet.
And you have a GoFundMe, right?
Yes.
What's the name of your GoFundMe?
It is help find and honor my missing mom.
And the husband's been arrested or detained or whatever you call it.
So at this point, we don't know if Brian Hooker has actually been charged with this, right? Just that he's being detained?
Right.
Has anybody told you anything about the criminal investigation at this point and what they have found and what they haven't found?
No, they have not.
But still no sign of your mom.
Mm-mm.
When you first heard the news that your mom was missing, did you suspect something nefarious right away?
I was too in shock when I was being told, but as I was processing it, stuff just didn't add up to me. It just seems very unlikely that she would just fall overboard. And why would she be swimming away from the boat? Why wouldn't she be swimming towards the dinghy? Or why didn't he drop anchor and look for her? Just doesn't really make sense.
Does the dinghy have an anchor?
Yes.
And do you have any idea, did anyone tell you about the actual currents in the place that they were between the yacht and land?
I did read somewhere that it was only a couple knots the wind or the current was, but I did read that it was very windy, but the knots in the water, the tide was not going that fast.
So it didn't sound plausible. I mean, usually
What do you mean you don't believe in space travel? You are a troll. Get out of here, man. This is ridiculous.
where you anchor, it's safe harbor. It's a place where you're not going to be yanking on your anchor all night. So the distance, any idea how far from land the yacht was when they anchored and then took the dinghy into land? Like how long was that journey that they had to make?
They did have to cross some water to get to the other island, but it's not very far if it's in the dinghy ride.
Any idea how far?
Do you know how far? No idea. I've never been there. I was at a different island when I was there with them.
And also, do you have any idea how bad the weather really was? Because he said the weather was, really bad, and that's why Lynette fell over.
I just know it was about 20 miles per hour winds, and it was about 3 knots the tide was.
But not roiling seas and rain and thunder and lightning. It wasn't a storm of any kind.
Yeah, no. I don't believe they would go out in a storm like that anyways.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to make sense. I mean, the whole thing just seems very odd. I have seen comments about Brian's temper in the past, things that you've witnessed. Can you tell me things that you've seen with regard to Brian's temper?
He gets away with his emotions sometimes. I've seen him do stuff to his daughter out of anger, and now I'm worried that it's happened to my mom, and it's something that he can't undo.
Have you ever seen him be violent with your mom?
I've heard stories from her, but I haven't seen it with her. I have seen it happen with his daughter. The same stuff that she describes happened to her.
Look, I'm gonna say this right now, you guys. People keep saying, "Oh, I was sent here by Baron Coleman. I was sent here by Baron Coleman. I was sent here by Baron Coleman." I don't give two shits about. I mean, I appreciate Baron Coleman's positive comments on the shadow video that I made in the Charlie Kirk case. Anybody who saw the video should be saying, "Wow, what a great job that was," because that was some of my best work that I do is that kind of stuff. Okay, I'm glad that he said that, but I don't respect any work that Baron Coleman does. I think everything that he sells, all of you people out there, is absolute garbage, and it will be proven to be garbage. But there's a climate out there of distrust to the government, so that's what sells, and everybody goes out and watches it. And I just think it's disgusting to play on those fears, because either he's an idiot or he's doing this intentionally. All right, because there isn't an option in between. And if you are somebody that got sent here by Baron Coleman, thank you for checking me out, but you're going to be highly disappointed, because I don't believe in a damn thing that guy says. Okay, I don't believe in anything he says. Every single thing that he puts out that I've checked out is complete nonsense. So you're going to be really disappointed on my channel, because Tyler Robinson is the killer. There is no doubt. The only possible connection behind the scenes that somebody else was involved would be from the trans community that he was communicating with on Discord. There's no Israeli involvement. There's no Egyptian involvement. There is no involvement by the TPSU USA, I mean. None of that crap. All right. So if you came here from Baron Coleman, you are not going to like my channel. Okay. Unless you're a rational minded person whose brain actually works. Okay. then you'll be okay with it.
Can you tell me what you saw
Thank
with
you very
Brian
much.
and his daughter?
They were talking about something
Jesus.
religious because she's super religious and he's an atheist, and she ran off and then he followed her
And
and
if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's regarding the Charlie Kirk case. He's like a disciple of Candace Owens, okay? Same crew.
grabbed her by the neck and was like, "Say yes, sir," to her in her face. And then we had to go to court for that, and I was a witness.
How old was she?
Like around 12. I was in 3rd grade. And she's a little older.
She was a child when this happened. And what was the outcome?
They stopped coming over. I don't know if he was charged with anything, but I just know that
That's what I thought,
Jesse
Marty.
and Jake stopped coming over.
Didn't get a lot of
after that.
comments, but
These are his 2 kids?
Yes, out of 3. He has a 3rd one too.
And does he have a relationship with those kids now?
He does with one of them, but Jesse, he does not talk to.
Since that incident?
Basically, yeah.
How old is she now?
30 something.
So-
And she ran off, and then he.
let me get this one. I missed the incident.
I've heard stories from her, but I haven't seen it with her. I have seen it happen with his daughter. The same stuff that she describes happened to her.
And can you
Baron,
tell me what
not
you
Brian.
saw with Brian and his daughter?
Oh, Brian.
They were talking about something religious because
okay.
she's super religious and he's an atheist, and she ran off and then he followed her and grabbed her by the neck and was like, "Say yes, sir," to her in her face. And then we had to go to court for that.
Now, see, that's the incident where she got arrested, and it's a totally different story. She had no visible signs. Hey, so before we jump right on, Brian's obviously, he did something here, in my opinion. But this whole situation they're talking about now, let's not all just do that. I think they're both mutually, not good for each other, and there's violent moments on both sides. Yeah, I don't know if it was this might not be the same one. Are you sure it was the 12-year-old daughter? I thought he was talking about choking the mom. Because there's an incident where she claimed that he choked her and then hit her in the head or forehead, and then there was no signs at all of any of that, but he had his nose busted up. Okay? So I don't know if that's what this one is. Let me go back. Maybe I need to...
And she ran off and then she ran off. I've heard stories from her, but I haven't seen it with her.
Yeah, this is a very toxic relationship.
I have seen it happen with his daughter.
Oh, his daughter. Okay, so yeah, that's a totally different thing. So, that makes it, it shows that he can do violent things, too.
The same
also.
stuff that she
But we already knew that.
describes happened to her.
And can you tell me what you saw with Brian and his daughter?
What's weird is it sounds so similar to that other court event.
They were talking about something religious because she's super religious and he's an atheist, and she ran off and then he followed her and grabbed her by the neck and was like, "Say yes, sir," to her in her face. And then we had to go to court for that, and I was a witness.
How old was she?
Like around 12. I was in 3rd grade.
Oh, that's like, he's a monster too, I mean, when they drink, I don't know if he was drunk even on that one, but both of them, when they drink, seem to get kind of violent.
And
So
she's a little older.
she was a child when this happened. And what was the outcome?
They stopped coming over.
That's weird
I
how-
don't know if he was charged.
It's weird how similar it sounds, because remember the other one was he, chased upstairs or something, and then he punched her, she punched him, and she's the one that got arrested. Yeah, you know what's weird about it, Chris O'Connell's, it's just, this is like one of those really toxic relationship where both of them would probably do things that provoke the other person when they drink, and it turns out that at the very end, he's the one that, had more violence in him and did what, if he did do something, right? I mean, I guess it seems like it's sort of obvious that something like that happened because of their background. But It's also possible when they do the investigation, if they find her, they might not be able to prove anything happened. Because what if it was just something like this? That he just, like, shoved her into the water, and then he went away, and he knew that she didn't have flotation device, the weather wasn't very good, and she just drowns. How in the hell are you going to prove that he did anything? There's no way to prove a damn thing other than him moving around, you know? Like, if you could somehow figure out how he was moving around and navigating in the water, that could show that. Maybe they have that, you know that piece of information she gave the Coast Guard, she said? I wonder if that is why they detained him. Because they look at that and go, that doesn't make sense to the story that you told. Oh yeah, at the end of the show last night, let me see if I can find that really quick, you guys. I think it's important because I don't like it when we have to have all the information to be able to figure out the why. You know, people get offended if, oh, you're talking about the one that's missing and therefore it's garbage. Who cares? You know, do we not want to know the reality, or do we just want to? So here, hold on a second, I'll show you. It's this one right here. Is it not there? There it is. A woman missing in Bahamas was previously arrested after domestic violence incident involving her husband. Let's see. I think it's down here where they... Police wrote in the report, officers contacted a witness who said she heard Lynette Hooker upstairs causing a commotion. She said she saw Brian Hooker go upstairs and return several minutes later with a bloody nose. The witness declined to Thursday to comment of the 2015 incident. The report says that Lynette Hooker was highly intoxicated on the night of the incident. See what I'm saying? Like these guys, both of them. When police brought her downstairs to ask her what had happened, she said Brian Hooker had hit her in the forehead. She said that her children had locked themselves in a room upstairs and that she was trying to get in, which is when she said her husband choked her and punched her one time, the report stated. According to the police report, officers saw Brian Hooker's red, swollen, and bloody nose, but said Lynette Hooker had no visible injuries. And there's no way if you try to choke somebody or punch them in the forehead that there's no sign of anything. Do you guys agree with that? I mean, so that this is an incident where something happened on the other side. See what I'm saying? It's crazy.
With anything, but I just know that Jesse and
Crazy
Jason
case.
are coming over after that.
These are his two kids?
Yes, out of 3. He has a third one too.
And does he have a relationship with those kids now?
He does with one of them, but Jesse, he does not talk to.
Since that incident?
Basically, yeah.
How old is she now?
Well, what do you guys think of that, what we just read? Give me some feedback on it. Seems like everybody's quiet. I mean, that's important to the story because what it means is they're both, when they drink, they are violent towards each other, a horrible mix, and they are, you know, then there's a great chance that at some point something really bad will happen.
Now.
30-something.
So it's been an estranged relationship with his own kids all these years.
Yeah.
Does he speak with the other two kids?
He speaks with Jacob over FaceTime sometimes, and then Rosie, yes, he talks to Rosie.
And is it Rosie who is in the Bahamas now?
She wants to go to the Bahamas, yes.
See, it's sort of interesting because I think, remember how, I think when she handed the Coast Guard that phone app information with the map and stuff, that's what led to arresting the husband because it didn't match what he said he did. I bet you that has everything to do with it. How else would you know anything? You haven't found her body. You haven't found, there's nothing to prove what he said is incorrect other than something like that. So I think that's exactly why he was arrested.
She's in Lowell.
And have you been speaking with those siblings
was
about what's happened?
I've talked to Rosie, yeah.
What does Rosie think?
She doesn't want to believe that her own dad would do that, which I understand. It's pretty hard for me too to even wrap my head around this, but she just was going to go down there to support him to help look, but I even mentioned, like, I don't know if that's a good idea right now to get into this mess.
Do his kids have any suspicions about what happened, though?
I haven't talked to Jacob, but there is some speculation right now as to what actually happened.
What do they think?
That he didn't do the best he can to look for her.
Do they think that Brian intentionally pushed Lynette overboard?
They have a suspicion that something could have happened, but they don't want to say, like, for sure, because that's their dad.
Yeah. What do you think happened?
I think either she did actually fall off and he just was like, oh, well, look at all that life insurance, and just paddled away, or he pushed her out and she was unconscious or something. I don't know.
You mentioned life insurance. Do you have any idea what the policy, or if they have
Yeah, no, it seems to me like he would do something where he wouldn't leave marks. Well, that's if he planned it. This could be something that happened because they were volatile and arguing. And that's why what he did afterwards and stuff is so discombobulated.
life insurance policy?
I have no idea. But I'm assuming she does from her retirement.
Do you think that Brian had any intention of leaving your mom? Had they talked about separation, or had they been having marital difficulties?
That'd be a good one.
They've talked about separating before, and the last time they were together, he did choke her out and threaten to kill her and throw her overboard. So the fact that this is happening 2 years later is...
What do you mean the last time that they were together? What does that mean? That doesn't make any sense. Aren't they together all the time? I mean, the last time they went away together, or what? What is that?
a little bit. Like, how can
I
we
don't know what
not
that
be
means.
suspicious when you've already said that this was going to happen?
Did your mom confide in her mom, your grandmother, specific incidents, anything that had happened between her and...
You guys know what that meant? That's confusing to me.
He did choke her out. He did.
what the policy, or if they have a life insurance policy?
I have no idea. But I'm assuming she does from her retirement.
Do you think that Brian had any intention of leaving your mom? Had they talked about separation, or had they been having marital difficulties?
They've talked about separating before, and the last time they were together,
The last time that they were together,
he did choke her out and threaten to kill her and throw her overboard. So the fact that this is happening 2 years later is...
so 2 years before is when there was a threatening of choking her out. So I'm not sure. That's the last time he saw her? I'm totally confused. Maybe she just worded that wrong.
is a little bit...
That
Like,
makes
how can
sense to
we not
anybody
be
else?
suspicious when you've already said that this was going to happen?
So they were separated for 2 years, and then they got back together, and then he chokes her out?
Did your mom confide in her mom, your grandmother?
That's crazy if that's the
specific
case.
incidents, anything that had happened between her and Brian?
Yeah,
Maybe he was trying to get back together so he could kill her, and it was all planned so he could get life insurance, her retirement and stuff like that. Because if they hadn't seen each other for 2 years, and the first time you see him in 2 years, this event happens, that's pretty suspicious.
confided in my grandma.
And do you know what she told your grandma?
Just that they've been fighting more often lately, especially when they've been drinking.
No, but the part, Crystal O'Connell, that you're not referring to is, she said, the last time my mom saw him, he threatened her life. And now it's 2 years later, and look what he did. But the last time, how could it be the last time your mom saw him was 2 years ago? And then all of a sudden you're seeing him 2 years later, and then that actually might have happened. See what I'm saying? She makes it sound like there is like a 2-year gap of them even seeing each other.
And that it's embarrassing for other people to see. She has mentioned that it's not safe to be.
She didn't say that though, Chaos Mama. She didn't say they broke up and got back together several times. She said, the last time my mom saw him, he threatened to choke her out. Or he choked her out and he threatened to kill her or something. And then now he's on this trip with her 2 years later.
With him.
She told your grandmother it's not safe to be with Brian?
I don't remember where I read that, but she has said that to one of her friends at least.
And what can you expand on that? What did she mean by it's not safe?
I'm guessing just when he starts drinking, he gets a little bit more, he gets different, and she did complain about him, how he acts when he drinks.
I don't know. I don't know what the hell they're
He just gets more
about.
like smart-assy and feistier, I guess.
What about her though? What about her?
So, yeah.
Did she ever tell your grandmother or any of her friends specific things that had happened?
Just about, I think that she's told them more than what she's told me. But I do know that there's like a picture of bruises all over her back from one of her friends, and she mostly tells my grandma all of that stuff.
Do you have that picture of your mom with bruises?
No, I don't.
Who has that picture?
One of her friends in Jackson.
And is that something that you're going to forward to the Royal Bahamian Police as part of their investigation?
I believe they did, yeah, to the Coast Guard.
Did your mom say that the bruises were from Brian?
Yeah, I'm sure.
But do you know for sure?
I don't know 100%, no.
But her friend.
Why would you send it to a friend if it wasn't from him? I mean, you're sending it because you're trying to. I mean, obviously that's what she was doing when she sent the picture.
Mom's friend.
I mean, I don't think women go, yeah, I got these great bruises I got when I fell off these rocks. Check them out. You know, nobody does that.
Told you that the picture exists?
She told my grandma, which told me.
Right. Has anyone?
Yeah, or maybe she brought out the worst in him. You know, it's hard to really know. But yeah, she seems like it's possible when both of them were drunk, Chris. Like they would just both needle each other, and maybe I think he could have done that. He brought out the worst. He could have. He brought out the worst in her. I don't know. I mean, she probably brought out the worst in him too, right? I mean, look what happened. So I think both of them. It's very similar to other cases that we've covered. A lot of times in the true crime community, though, you have to pick a side, or everybody gets offended or something. And there is only one side if he did something to her, right? But I'm saying if you're trying to figure out what happened, why do people get offended if you assign like, oh wow, so she was like this, okay, so now we see how there's this situation going on where it's a very volatile relationship, and it kind of explains things more, but people get offended when I said the same thing last night. I hate it. I hate it that you can't just talk about the reality, because you got to pick the one that's the victim. If you say anything in terms of, it's not the same, like victim blaming when other people accuse them of being the killer and shit, that's different. In this case, you're just trying to find out what happened. And if you're not allowed to say that, they both seem to have, when they drank, they had issues. They both they needled the other person, and they were like, absolutely didn't get along when they drank. Can we all agree with that? That's not a good point there, Chris O'Connell. I know you tried, though. Had nothing to do with that. It means he's probably a shitty person, too. But did you hear what I just said a minute ago? How she made up the story about being attacked, and then got she punched him in the face and everything when she was drunk, and the mother said the same thing. Right, the facts are what matter. So your comment about like that maybe his 12-year-old daughter also brought out the worst in him too, to try to, kind of I don't know what you were meaning by that, but nobody said anything about that. Right. I think they both are probably shitty drunks who absolutely pushed each other's buttons all the time, and if he might have, I don't know if he planned this out or whatever, but something happened and one of them died, and whoever, if he's responsible for that, he's a monster. Okay, that's the truth.
In your family ever suggested to your mom that she leave Brian?
Yes, multiple times. Every time she leaves him, we don't want her to go back, but she always goes back.
How many times has she left him?
I know for sure of 2 times. One when I was
Okay, so there's a part. She left him a couple times.
in high school, and one 2 years ago. But I'm sure there's been more times.
What are the circumstances of her leaving him? Like what precipitated it, do you know?
Just when he choked her out. That's what made her leave last time.
Okay.
So the final
So
time
that was 2 years ago.
was when he allegedly choked out your mom. What about the time before that?
That was in high school. She didn't tell me why. She just was in my room crying when she told me.
And what?
So that means they broke up after the choking out, and then they got back together just now. And she disappears, man. See, that's where it seems like it's premeditated almost. Like he thought, man, I can't stand her. I'm gonna take her out. I'll make it look like an accident, but then, I'll still be able to get access to this and this and this and this.
Did she say?
Just that they're gonna get a divorce.
She had talked about divorce beforehand?
Mm-hmm.
Did she say what his reaction was?
No, I just know that he was crying downstairs because I heard him crying.
Brian was crying in the house.
He's probably more, I would put more weight on him. It could be that, like, she would push buttons and he would push buttons, but he's the one, like, even maybe when he wasn't drinking. Like, I don't know what the story is with the 12-year-old. Like, was he drunk that time too? Like, is alcohol sort of in his situation, the fuel? Because there's people, haven't you seen those people out there before? When they drink, they get really angry and they want to fight and beat up people. And then when they're drunk, and then when they're not drunk, they're just kind of normal, funny people. But then when they're drunk, they're just like these monsters.
After your mom
I was saying that. She asks a lot of questions in rapid fire and kind of keeps you off.
told him she was leaving?
Mm-hmm.
Was he angry?
Not that I know of.
Were there any other times other than these 2 times that you...
But she hasn't ever asked about, like, the mother part. See, that's what I'm saying. When you have this article out there that she was arrested at one point, then that's got to be something you got to ask.
know of that your mom may have tried to leave Brian?
No, not for certain.
And they
I
were
know some women
retired,
too
right?
that are like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so did they have plenty of money? Were there any financial struggles or issues between your mom and Brian? Did Brian have any debts? Was there anything that you can think of that would give some motive?
Not that I know of. I do think she has life insurance out from being retired from AT&T. I know he doesn't have any retirement from AT&T, so I don't
But I don't know. Why would it be life? She means like retirement, not life insurance.
know how good he's sitting. But I do know that last time they broke up, my mom told me that she's better when they're together financially, but when they're apart, she's going to have to work if they broke up, and she was going to try to work at the post office.
She had actually talked about having to get a job at the post office to live separately from him? Mm-hmm. When was that?
See, that's like a classic thing for as why abuse victims stay together. You know, a lot of times, but she seemed like she had a normal career before that. But sometimes you have somebody they don't have any other source of income other than the person that's abusing them. So they'll stay in the relationship because they don't have any other means out there.
2 years ago.
And so do you feel that your mom was financially pressured to stay with Brian against her
I think they were married because she has his last name.
will?
Yeah, maybe. I guess it could have that. She seemed like she didn't know if it was life insurance earlier, though.
Probably not.
But
It crossed my mind when I said, oh, she's probably talking about retirement. And I thought, well, maybe they still pay for a life insurance or a term for a few years as sort of a benefit. But I didn't throw it in there.
she mentioned to you that she's financially stronger when she's with him, and if she's not with him, she would have to get a job and come out of
I
retirement.
mean, that's like a classic thing right there, what she just said.
Was their retirement to be on the boat and sail around the world, or were they just on a visit to the boat?
Their plan was to stay on the boat and travel around.
So they were living on the Soulmate yacht,
Yeah,
a 55-foot yacht?
something around there, yeah.
Did they sell their belongings back at home?
I'll say this. I'll put most of the weight, I'll put like, the majority of the weight on his side, but I think that they were just not, they weren't people that should have ever been together,
Yep,
So that was their home. I mean, there was nowhere for your mom to go. If she wanted to get off the yacht, she didn't have another home to go to.
exactly.
Did she ever tell your mom that it was a mistake, that she wished she hadn't gotten on the yacht,
Probably.
but didn't mention anything to you?
I do have text saying that she sold everything to be living this dream and now has to leave it or something like that. She sent text messages to my friend or one of her work friends about it.
So tell me a little bit more about those texts.
She seems so tired. Probably just, staying up every day wondering where her mom is. I think it's I'm like 90-10 that a crime was committed. I think it's way more likely that a crime was committed.
Yeah. Thank you.
I mean, just given the scenario that they were volatile, he threatened her before. Like, what are the odds, Although I gotta admit, the dinghy, looking the way it looks, kind of does make you wonder a little bit.
Right here. Nothing but fighting since we bought the boat. Then he started turning to insults, so I packed my stuff and left. I'm in Florida visiting the parents. This was in 2022.
So that's just before she was choked out.
Yeah, that's basically.
Are there any other texts like that?
She said it's something I probably should have done 15 years ago. Was
it could
to
have
leave
been.
him. Yeah.
Or maybe he's got somebody else that he wanted to be with and thought, man, I could start a great new life if I take her out of the picture, get that life insurance, and, But yeah, if she said, well, it's weird that they're on this trip and he threatened. I mean, she seems like somebody that would threaten that a lot based on their relationship. But they're way over there in the Bahamas, and maybe he said that at dinner or something, and then.
Basically it.
Who are these texts to?
Her name's Corey.
Is that a friend?
She used to be a friend, yeah, a work friend. I don't know if they're still close, but I know they were at one time.
And these were texts that Corey sent you?
Yeah.
In light of everything that's happened? Mm-hmm. Were there any other texts that they sent? Her friends? Or your mom? Or your grandmother? Did your grandmother have any text messages from your mom?
Probably, but I don't have them.
What happened?
And are you in regular communication with your grandmother about everything that's happened?
I've talked to her every day since.
If you had a message for Brian, if he was watching this, what would you want to say to him?
I'm sorry this is happening. I really hope that it was an accident. I hope you understand that I just want to know the truth of what happened, because a missing person is...
I mean, I guess we all hope it's an accident. I mean, it's better to know that there isn't a violent nut job out there. Now, if he... Here's the thing, everybody. If he shoved her over the boat and she drowned, then there's likely no way this case will ever be solved, because there's no video of anything. The only thing they've got is, like, if his boat moved around in a weird way, doesn't match his story, but there won't be any evidence that he did something. He did, like, strangulation or anything like that at all. Now, if they find her and there's no water in her lungs, for example, that means she was dead before going into the water. That would be a big clue. Could also be that she never made it into the water, and all that stuff there was a ruse, and she's on that island somewhere where he had dinner. That's sort of my side theory that I came up with yesterday. I thought it sounded pretty good.
Big deal, especially since it's my mom. I just hope...
Yeah. Well, she definitely will surface after a while, unless some sharks or something got her. But, like, you know, once you decompose, the gases in your body you start floating to the surface. Usually, seems like it's like 7 to 10 days later, something like that.
This was an accident,
Maybe 2 weeks.
and everything will be okay, I guess.
Do you think that he killed your mom?
That's not really a theory, Timothy. You're saying, I think it might... Yeah, we all think it might have been... It's possible it was an accident. That's not a theory. Pick one.
It's not a possibility, but yeah, probably.
Wait, what did she say?
Thing will be okay, I guess.
Do you think that he killed your mom?
It's not a possibility, but yeah, probably.
Intentionally?
I don't know if it was intentional or his anger got the best of him, but I feel like there is a possibility that something could have happened.
I just want to ask Lindsay, who's on the other end right now, if there's anything that I've missed, if there's anything I should ask you that I haven't asked you. Yeah, did they have a group of friends that were in the Bahamas, or were they just by themselves? Were there anybody around that they spent time with?
Not that I know of. I do know they have some boat friends.
See, I would be more into trying to get what happened that night. At 7:30 when they were on that other island over there, what were they doing over there? Oh, cool, they were in a restaurant. But then it sounds like they were heading towards a restaurant from that island it just gets too... Like, I like to know what happened. You know, you ever notice that? Like, a lot of times, like, this interview is really good, and it goes through all the stuff about them and everything. But a lot of times they don't get into the structural stuff, like, okay, so where exactly do we know that they were at 7:30? Now, do you know how far out into the water, like on that map thing you got, how far? I would sit there and spend all this time trying to get all of that dialed in. You know?
But I don't know where they're located.
So not necessarily in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Right. And Carly, is there anything that I haven't asked you, or something that I don't know, or that nobody knows at this point, but that you'd like to say?
Yeah, see, there you go. See, you go. Now we're doing the same thing with just like the Gabby Petito case. She can have no fault at all, everybody. It's just him. That's it. She has no culpability in their relationship being not solid.
Not right now, no.
And anything in the history between your mom and Brian that I haven't asked you about, you haven't mentioned yet, something that comes to mind?
Yeah, I think it's shitty that the 12-year-old daughter... What do you think of a lady that would, punch a guy in the face and then claim that she was choked and hit in the forehead but wasn't? What do you think of that?
Is important to this whole situation?
I wasn't even referring to you. I was reading up there the Sandy Shirley comment, Chris O'Connell.
Just any support for
Oh, I
my
guess you said
family right
something
now would
similar.
be greatly appreciated.
Did you ever fear that Brian would do something like this to your mom?
I feared
also
that he
violent
would
too, right?
hurt
'Cause she
her in
punched him in
some
the
way,
face.
but I never would have thought that this would have happened.
You thought the worst it would be was maybe more bruises, but not something this serious?
Yeah.
And given the history and the text messages, the pictures,
Like I said, I think it's more on his side. You know, like he's probably, you know, obviously he's a guy, he's stronger, you know, but like I've said, I mean, like I said, I have a friend whose wife was, like this guy, when he drank, he would just be goofy, laughing, and he was, you know, he's the one that made the money in their relationship, and, you know, she was, you know, a stay-at-home wife, but luxurious shit, you know what I mean? Like this guy was born, like his dad was really rich, and he was rich, and, you know, there was nothing, she wasn't struggling or anything, you know, and she would just get drunk at these parties they'd have at their house, and then, like one time, smashed a beer bottle on his head. He's just sitting there talking, and there's no reason. The stuff that she started blabbering out of her mouth wasn't even anything at all that was going on. I mean, it was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And it was always embarrassing and shameful and just shitty. So you could have a situation like that, you know, and you sort of wonder, like, man, that must have been a really volatile relationship. But in that case, he was never volatile. Like, he had nothing to do with it. In that case, it was just her that was like that. And then he got a divorce, and then it wasn't like that anymore when he got remarried. So, who knows what the real situation was in the background.
the concerns that your mom even had about staying with him. Do you now think, in retrospect, it's possible?
Well, he didn't drive it. Well, we don't know if he drove it away, Sandy, because if you know, if she did somehow have the dead man switch thing around her ankle and fell into the water and didn't have the key, he had to paddle it. Okay, but I think it is really possible that he just shoved her in the water and then paddled away. Yeah, they shouldn't have been on the same continent. That's right.
Well, something did happen, that maybe he did do something terribly, terribly bad to your mom?
I have a feeling, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Carly, I'm thinking of you, and I'm hoping the best for you and your family. And please know that we're praying for your mom and for you and for the rest of your family as well. Thank you for talking to us today, and I hope we can continue the conversation.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Wow, that's crazy, huh?
So that's where it stands.
Yeah, well, a great interview there by Ashleigh Banfield. Thank you for letting me play that. The link to the video is in the description. You can watch it 1,000,000 times if you want. But I always get frustrated because these are always these cases that there's always sides picked, and then people get angry, and then they leave if you don't agree. Like if you don't agree with their side, they get so upset. I remember that was in the Gabby Petito case, which is another case where both of them were unhinged towards each other. But in that case, Brian Laundrie's the barbarian at the end of the day. But the real story is that she also was would be violent towards him, etc. Back and forth, back and forth. Very toxic relationship. But yeah, people don't want you to ever bring that up because they just want to believe that Gabby Petito was the sweetest, nicest little person in the world and had never had anything to do with anything else. You know, and so whenever you talk about it, people get upset and angry. And I just don't like that stuff. But man, she looks so tired. She's done a lot of interviews, this girl. She probably stays up late every single night, you know. So is it okay, everybody? Are you guys still going to support the channel, even though I think that, you know, in this case, both of them were like toxic towards each other. He's just the worst one because, you know, if he had something to do with her disappearing, which I think he did, then, you know, he's the monster at the end of the day, right? He's the one that acted out and took somebody's life. I know it sucks. So people get upset and offended. I'm unsubscribing. Did you hear what Grace said? He's blaming the... No, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm trying to just tell you how it was. That's part of the story. That's why there was an article talking about on the 15th, or 2015, that she was arrested. Why would they put that out there? You just got it. You have to know the whole... It's more interesting that way, by the way, to figure out the full dynamic of what was going on, and then go, oh, okay, so I can see how this happened, and then boom, yeah, Jesus, man, this is crazy. If we all just want to be blind to any other pieces of information out there, then it's just sort of boring, you know? It's like you're not even going to, yeah, you know, it's all the guy, that's blah, 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 blah. I want to know the whole damn thing, right? And it's not victim blaming. It's just figuring out what they're doing that. The cops are. I guarantee you the cops are doing the same thing. They're talking to friends that say, oh, yeah, there's times where she'd drink and slap him in the face. Then there's times when, you know, and they probably have this whole thing that they're building up, and they're coming up with this conclusion, that it was a very toxic relationship. They shouldn't have been, they were probably like codependent and in a toxic relationship, which is very dangerous because they're dependent on each other, yet they shouldn't be with each other at all. And then it turned out that he possibly acted out on it, and it led to the death of his wife. All right, there you go. What do you think of that? Did I sum that up pretty good? That's true. That's true. Anyways, I think I appreciate you guys' support. And Chris O'Connell just typed in, true crime is complex and isn't for the thin-skinned folks. There you go. Boom. Can I get a boom? Perfect comment right there at the end. And I want to say thanks to Marty for, let's see, we got Marty for a couple coffees in there. Very generous. Thank you so much. Then we also have Tracy Von Brott with a couple coffees. And then Lisa Valenzuela with a couple coffees, man. Very kind, very kind. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. And thanks again to Ashleigh Banfield for letting us play that. And then we've got Joel Burnt. Come on, freaks. Keep Prey going. Then we got Sandy Shirley. Alley Cake. Wild Bill Wassman. Chris O'Connell gifted 5. Then we had Joel Burnt gift 5. Then Wild Bill Wassman, who just kind of keeps the flow as when we're dead. Chris O'Connell gifted 5. Then Chris O'Connell gifted 5 again. Thank you, Chris O'Connell. And then Joel Burnt. Wild Bill Wassman. Lisa Valenzuela. Cheryl Bullock gifted 1. Then Wild Bill Wassman. Alley Cake. Wild Bill Wassman again. The legendary bass fisherman. We're going to see him on YouTube or some television show sometime. I bet you are on YouTube somewhere. And then Chris O'Connell. Long Travel. Wasn't that what it was? And then Chris O'Connell. Shay Edel. Wild Bill Wassman. Chris O'Connell. Yeah, it was like this. I keep reading the same names. C. Daly. Wild Bill Wassman. Joel Burnt. Shay Edel. Alley Cake. Chris O'Connell gifted 10 that matched Marty's challenge, as well as Alley Cake and some of the others there. And then Wild Bill Wassman. Then I gifted 5. Then Jim Lawn. Vicky White. Wild Bill Wassman. Alley Cake. Jim Lawn. Thank you, guys. Very cool. Appreciate it. All right. So tomorrow I do have that. I'm going to do the show at 11 o'clock. You know, it's going to be the same thing we just went over, so that you don't need to be like, oh, I got to, watch it or whatever. But then I'll just do the same show in the evening again. All right. And who knows, man? what tomorrow will bring. Anyways, thank you guys very much for being here, and thank you all so much for supporting my channel. I wouldn't be able to do any of the stuff that we do and I do on with the channel without your guys' support. You guys are basically keep things moving along. All right. So I really appreciate you guys. You know, special thanks, obviously, to Wild Bill Wassman, Marty, Chris O'Connell, Lisa Valenzuela tonight, Tracy Von Brott. All right, you guys are very kind. So thank you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Oh! I'm a certified human lie detector. Thank you for watching Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube, where we cover true crime using logic, reason, and common sense. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, be safe out there.
Evil can never be dead enough.